Welcome, welcome. Welcome to this members stream. But everyone is welcome, of course, even if it's... my focus will be on the chat on members on YouTube, but everyone on Twitch, you're welcome as well, of course, to be part and watch all of this. And I'll be occasionally reading. If the chat gets slow on members, I'll still read the occasional chat on Twitch. And everyone who is here who is not a member, of course, I didn't want to make this private in the sense that I still want people to share it, be here, watch it. We're gonna read stuff, we're gonna watch stuff. It's gonna be great as usual, but it is my way to say thank you to the people who are members of the channel on YouTube and supporting the work. Basically, as you have probably noticed, I upped my streaming game. I now stream 20 times a month, but I thought, hey, at least once a week on Friday I should make a sort of members dedicated live stream, if you will, where if you're a member on YouTube, then you have, it's guaranteed that I will read your comments. So hello, so good to have you here, guys. Hello, Saint Nicholas, Baron. Good evening, Mr. Fringe. Welcome to the inner circle. Hey, Samuel, Spencer, Dreamheart. So good to have you. Vote Charles on Twitch. Hello. Man, you've got it all. You are both on Twitch and members. Like, you've got it all. You're like super supportive, Ochal. Thank you. Thank you. Good so far, Baron. That's great. I hope we're gonna have a great live stream. Hopefully, I'm sure it will be great because you guys are great. Brandon says, glad to have gotten a gifted membership. Yeah, those always happen, by the way, during these live streams in general. So it's always good to participate because you might end up, because you guys are awesome, and it might happen that there are some gifted membership and they're randomly distributed among the people watching. So it's always good to stay because you never know. You never know. It might happen. It might happen. Playing Go. I don't know if I'm into Go, to be honest, August. Hey, Apoc. So good to have you here. Higashi martial art, my man. Couldn't miss it. What's up, Kyodai? Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. It's going well. Oh, Baron, you're still house hunting. I thought you closed in a house. I thought you found a house. Not yet. Oh yeah, Nicholas, you were asking me about this. This is from Golden Axe, since the music is also Golden Axe, and it's the girl from Golden Axe on top of the, yeah, Tyrus Flair, I think it's her name, and she's on top of the dragon. Well, it's not a dragon, but you know what I mean. I thought it was pretty cool to have here. I've got all three, by the way. Maybe I should go get the others. I'll get the others as we proceed with the stream. The number of action figures will increase. How about that? That sounds good. I challenge you to speak this entire stream, alternating each word between the languages you know. I could do it. It would be extremely, like, I'd probably get a headache at the end, and I would lose 90% of viewership, so I think I'll pass on that. Thank you, Elijah Brooks, for the super chat. Hey, Raphael, I hope you and your wife have a baby. We are working on it. We're thinking about it. I would only know a fifth of what he says Baron. Yeah. Too long didn't read this. The house needed too many repairs for the bank to want to invest. Ooh, I see. So basically, like a problem with the mortgage, then, I guess. Well, I hope you find another one that you like. I really hope so. We didn't really have to do many repairs when we bought this house because luckily they had just done repairs before they sold it. So the whole roof was redone right before we came in, which was really a really good thing. And we didn't need to do, like, we did a little bit of the mulch. If you're American, you know what I'm talking about. The mulch, we needed to have that one redone. A tiny little bit of gardening, but it wasn't expensive. We didn't need to put really money into anything apart from like furbishing, which we still haven't finished. It's gonna take some time. The 2x Metatron voice is something. Are you putting me on fast forward? Oh, the foundation level. Yeah, it sounds, and this kitchen subfloor. That sounds like a lot of work. Probably a lot of money as well. Say, Nicholas, watching on both. Thank you so much. Oh, that's why you got the double voice. That's funny. I see. I got it. It's good to have you here, Noble Ones. It's Friday, and Friday's Members Day. So it's your opportunity to ask me whatever you want, and then we can do a bit of Q&A, bit of watching, bit of this, bit of that, bit of article reading. I found an interesting article on the Scythians. So today, among other things, among Golden Axe, we've got some Scythians as well. Hello, Christopher. Good to have you here. They quoted you $10,000. You know, that's what I was about to say, but I didn't say it. I did think that's the figure I had in my mind when I thought of foundations, but maybe some kitchen works, probably like 10K. It's a lot of money. Augustus is telling us set one of the two streams on 0.75 speed. Oh, that would be funny, and the other one normal. That would be a trip. A meta baby is it would be adorable. I agree. If I have a son, I'll give him the name Gaius Julius Caesar Octavianus Augustus, Emperor of Rome. All of that part of the name, including Emperor of Rome. Could you imagine? The whole thing. Like every time I call him, I will be like, Gaius Julius Caesar Octavianus Augustus, Emperor of Rome and surrounding territories. Every time. No, but one thing, it is funny, yeah? But one thing that we've been thinking whenever I do have kids is that we will bring them up bilingual. And my wife will always speak to them in English, and I will always speak to them in Italian. This way is like you speak Italian to daddy and you speak English to mommy, and that's how it's going to be. And because I have seen a lot of people talk about, no, it's not a good idea because then they can get confused. They're full of it. They're wrong. Bilingual is what you give your kids if you have an opportunity to do it. There's no reason not to do it. Absolutely no reason. Zero. Every counter argument that people present comes out of ignorance. I can tell you that much. You know, I'm very much into languages. Bilingual, 100%. And what they do with it, it's up to them. It's like my kid gets 15 and they're like, Dad, I don't care about Italian anymore. They already have it anyways, so they don't need to do anything. And then they're like, I want to learn whatever the heck, Japanese, because I like manga. I like, well, I'll help you with that because I know Japanese too. So let's think something else. They're like, oh, I love Portuguese. I'm like, hey, you go learn Portuguese. It's going to be easier because you're already a native. So however you look at it, if they're like, oh, I really want to learn Spanish, well, you could do it and it's going to be a lot easier for you because you come from a Romance language already as a native language. I think it's a great idea. It is incredibly good for children. Exactly, APOC. You're absolutely right. The only thing that they can experience if you also, like they might be a little slower when it comes to like learning the spelling. Although then again, it's a minor inconvenience that I would be more than happy to sit down and take the time and help them out with schoolwork, but they still are raised bilingual. And then they've got double, you know, and not to mention they can speak to the family back home whenever we travel to Italy. It'd be great. There's no reason not to. Absolutely no reason not to. Say, Nicholas, question. Will you finally do a reaction video to the YouTuber J Bats to Write a Hero Emperor Karl Franz of Warhammer Fantasy? I don't know, man. On the main, no. Maybe it's a bit too much like out of what I usually talk about on the main. But on the third, I would leave it as a possibility because on the third I do talk about pop culture, fantasy, video games, like really everything. And at that point, it would be okay, I think. But it's just one of those things that you have to kind of balance out. Also, let me close my Facebook page because I always prefer to have my Facebook page closed when I'm live. It's true, APOC, at that age, yeah, when they're very young, particularly if you start immediately, like when they can't even speak and you're speaking to them in both languages, it's yeah, they'll acquire it effortlessly. Instead, what's gonna happen if they end up being 20 and then they're like, Man, I wish you could have told me Italian, Dad, and you didn't. That's what they're gonna tell me. I'm not gonna have that. I'm not gonna have that. So yeah. Apoc says preferably you should speak all your known languages to your kids. That might be a bit much. That might be a bit too much. But two is good. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good point, Apoc. I didn't think of that. Just in case you misclick. Yeah, because Facebook can have personal information. Like if you think about it, even if it's not like an actual address or whatnot, but imagine if a misclick and then you can see the last restaurant on a picture that my wife and I, this is why everything is set to private on my Facebook, because imagine if like my wife and I want to take a picture, look, we're here at the restaurant and maybe it's a restaurant we like, and then someone weird now knows we go to that restaurant. It's always good to be very careful when you have an online persona. It doesn't matter if you have like 50,000, 100,000, a million, 10 million. Of course, the more people you have, the more careful you need to be when it comes to exposure and range. But it's always good to be very careful with these things. Thank you, Petrifax on Twitch, for subscribing with Prime. Very much appreciated. Note, I never set Twitch to be subscribers only. I never do that. And so yeah, you guys can all watch the stream as well, just like everyone on YouTube can watch the stream, by the way. Right now I'm just giving focus on the chat to members on YouTube, because this way, you know, it's a way to thank members for the support of the channel, and they get a chance once a week, one of the live streams, they get a chance to be like, oh yeah, Friday I had this question for Metatron. Every time I type it, he doesn't see it. Too many people. It's like, okay, he's gonna get it now. A bit of a one-to-one, if you will. That's what it is. So when I say members stream, it means that I'm gonna focus on members chats, but I will still occasionally read the Twitch chat, and then everyone can follow along. We're gonna read articles, we're gonna react to stuff, we're gonna watch stuff, the usual. We're gonna discuss topics. Jim Ross, thank you so much for supporting the stream. Are you going to do any more Japanese language videos? It has been a while. I'm working on it, but still basically useless. On the second channel, Metatron's Academy, absolutely, yes. In fact, I just posted something where there was coming, it was an extract from, I'll show you, but it basically was an extract from a live stream that I cut a little bit because someone was asking me about the show. Was it you? No, I don't think it was you. But anyway, someone was asking me about how you use the show in Japanese. And I basically cut it together and made it into an upload for my language channel. And I'll continue to do that, by the way. If something good comes out of a stream, I'll show you what I'm talking about. And boom, yeah. So this is my second channel, all about languages. You're probably aware of it. But this one here, you see language questions, and then working in Latin. How often should you practice languages? Inside here, there is also a section about Japanese, and these will continue to happen together with regular uploads, of course. Just because it's a good way, because sometimes, you know, live streams, even though they stay, the VODs stay online, sometimes they're like 4 hours long, 3 hours long, and maybe there was a section that you would have liked, but good luck finding it. So that's why not only I cut them and make them into their own videos with a little extra editing on all channels, really. So it's a section about game, it goes on the gaming channel, etc. But at the same time, I do have an even smaller channel right now, which is this one here, Metatron Clips. That is for people who, so these are all my channels really. And this one is for people who are like precisely for this. So we just cut things up, find good stuff, put it online, and then it's easier to like find these smaller sections that I know exist in streams, but they may be a little difficult to find if you're not aware of them. So yeah, we're working on it. We're working on it. But it's good that you, and if you have any question, Jim, during this live stream about Japanese, absolutely feel free to ask anything you want. Hey, Evil, good to see you. I've seen stories about a stalker tracking down a model by identifying where she was from the background reflected in her eyes in their pictures. People are scary. That is insane. That is insane. Yeah, people can be crazy. Mm-hmm. Brandon, I know English as my first language and I learned Spanish. Spanish is a very useful one to know. Lots of speakers all over. You've been wanting to pick up a third and started on Italian, but I stopped and debating on getting back into that or learning Romanian. Yeah, up to you, really. If you plan on going to Italy a lot, and then you want to use it like at Italian restaurants or you got Italian friends, then I would suggest Italian. But if you have like a personal interest towards Romanian culture, history, and you are going to travel and spend some time in Romania, then I would say switch to Romanian. It really is a matter of which one interests you the most and which one you see yourself spending some time in the country and maybe even finding people. Because at the end of the day, you could pick a language that has like such a small pool of people that you like actual speakers. Like in Tibet, like there's nothing wrong with learning the Tibetan language, but then you also have to understand that you won't use it much. So, and that which will make it harder for you to actually reach fluency, because at one point you have to interact with natives. You have to interact, unless you're like, oh no, I'm moving to Tibet, and I'm like, great, go for it. It's just one of those situations. So let me see. So yeah, that's the idea, ladies and gentlemen. I wrote members instead of members. That's true. Let me let me fix it. It's funny though. I don't know if I want to fix it because it's kind of funny. Yeah, I'll fix it. Properties, members. There you go. There you go. It's fixed. Now let me move it a little bit. Did it get fixed on the other side as well? 1 second. Let me check. Let me just put this on just YouTube. Just put this on YouTube. You know what? I'll put it on the channel like this. View your channel. There you go. We'll keep it on the channel. And let me see if this one, yeah, this one got fixed as well. That's good. Did you see I added the live stream hours on the top, at the top of the banner up here? Finally, I'm starting to get my stuff together. Starting to get, get organized. Finally, it only took me like 12 years, did it? There are people that start like they have 3 subscribers and are already more organized than me. It's just one of those things, I suppose. You did see, yeah. Friday's Muppet stream, yeah. Totally. King of copyright infringement English, yeah, pretty much. There are, Satori, yeah, there are some people there. I think Latin has about 14,000 speakers worldwide. I think that's the number. I don't know though, Meme Bears was cool. Maybe I shouldn't have... Hey, at least on the thumbnail, it still says Meme Bears. So that's wonderful. Do I want my kids to be bilingual in Italian or Sicilian Italian? Absolutely Italian gives them a lot more range of use. I don't know if you guys heard. Let me show you. Do you guys like leather? Are you into leather, guys? You'll see why I'm asking this question. There you go. So, this has been... if you ever read Herodotus, then you'll know that there is an interesting connection in the sources between leather and the Scythians. Thank you, Dr. Adam, for becoming a member. Welcome to the inner circle, my friend. It's good to have you. And while we're at it, check this out. It seems like that researchers have now found proof of something that was mentioned by Herodotus when it comes to the ancient Scythians, meaning that they used human skin to make leather products, including like quivers and belts, possibly from their enemies, I would imagine. But yeah, Yeah, here it says, "Not their enemy's flesh." Could you imagine that? I don't even know if I can. Is this gonna get me demonetized? I don't know, but it's interesting from a historical perspective. It is crazy, isn't it, Dreamheart? So how about we have a look at these? So we have, because of course I still haven't double checked it, so we're gonna review it together. And then I'm gonna send a text. But you know what? I'm gonna text my lead researcher, because he's a beast when it comes to this stuff. So I'll ask him. Then we read, and while we discuss this, if he's up, he might give us a confirmation or not directly while we are live. That could be interesting. So let me do that. I'm going to send the text right now. Man, this is going to be an interactive live stream. Look at that. So I'm going to send him this. Where is he? There he is. I'm going to type it now. Sentito. Una prova. My gosh, I can't even type. All right, message sent. Let me close Facebook. So while we have a look at this, we'll see what happens. We'll see if he confirms it. I do remember reading Herodotus speaking about it, but when you read ancient historians, I do consider ancient historians phenomenal sources, but sometimes you're like, no one else mentions that, for instance, and then you're like, did they ever find anything? You always want to have this double check, like with archaeological goods and whatnot. Well, it seems like they did find it. So I remember Herodotus saying it, but it seems like they found it. Thank you, Jim Ross, for supporting the stream. And my problem is most of your content is so interesting that I want to view it all. However, I think I'd have to give up sleep. I don't know how you do it. Well, yeah, I do post like a maniac. The clip channel, we post 4 times a day. On Metatron every day. And then I used to post every day on second and third, but now we slow down a little bit to give more time to streaming. But then we still post relatively often. So yeah, you're right. There's a lot of content to consume, isn't there? No, I don't think they were eating it. No, St. Nicholas. But then again, leather is cool, but I'm worried about this question, says Brandon. Yeah, you're right to be worried. You're right to be worried. So let's check it out. We have Live Science talking about it. Reddit, we'll see. Maybe if it's like Ask Historian. Well, Reddit Anthropology, we'll see. Might be interesting. Analysis of ancient Scythian leather samples from phys.org, Other Sciences and Archaeology, and then National Geographic. And of course, it's a big science alert, Archaeology News Online. It's literally everywhere. It's literally everywhere. Now, that doesn't mean that it's true, but because of the fact that I'm aware of the historical reference, I'm kind of more inclined to believe that this could be true, because Herodotus did say it. So anyways, let me check Live Science. Let's see what they tell us. So, ancient Scythians used human skin for leather, confirming Herodotus' grisly claim. The ancient Scythians, a nomadic people known for their gold and warrior ways, used human skin for leather, a new study finds. It's a study. I wish they would then give you the link to the study, whereas I always have to go and look for it myself. And then we got some X-Men here. The ancient Scythians, nomadic warriors and pastoralists, is there you read it, who flourished on the steppes of Europe and Asia, turned human skin into leather, and new study finds. The discovery confirms a claim made by the ancient Greek historian Herodotus that the Scythians, and then it gives us good, they are using BC AD, so they're already getting 1 point from me, used human flesh for leather. To investigate, researchers analyzed 45 samples of leather from 18 burials from 14 sites in southern Ukraine. According to the study published December 13th, what year? Oh, come on. You're not giving me the year? Are you out of your mind? Well, this already gives me a little bit of a, why are you not telling me the year? Is this from like 2003? In the journal PLOS ONE, we'll have to check the validity of this journal. The leather objects were excavated at different times over the past few decades. Well, the fact that if it's true that they're excavated at different times over different decades, and they represent, for instance, I don't know, something that they did over a long span of time, that would be more, like, less incidental and more, maybe that's something the Scythians actually did, you know. Yeah, in 20,003, exactly. It's true that a lot of stuff can be exaggerated. So, yeah, that's why we need to be kind of careful how much validity we give before we actually look at the real study. But it's good to read. The team found the two leather samples, both of which come from quivers. Yeah, we know what a quiver is, were made of human skin. My gosh, making quivers of the skin of your enemies after you shot them dead is metal. Leather from animals, including sheep, goats, cattle, and horses, was also used in the construction of the quivers. Okay, so they weren't like only human flesh, only the flesh of your enemies. Feels like something that Conan would say. The quivers were buried in kurgans, mounds that held the burials of rulers or other high-ranking individuals, and date back around 2,400 years to when the Scythians were thriving. And then we have a quote. Open quotes, considering the quivers were an important element of Scythian warrior identity, it is very likely that the quivers ended up being buried with their owners, close quotes, and that makes sense. Study co-author Margherita Gleba, an assistant professor of archaeology at University of Padua in Italy, she's from Padua, told Live Science in an email. She didn't mention the human flesh though. Feels like a Norska/Slanish thing. You're right, it feels like Chaos armies. Goodness gracious, if this gets confirmed, it's like one of those situations when reality is crazier than fantasy. Right? And you say, for example, this idea that the Mongols, being these highly aggressive, war-minded people back then, seemed to be propaganda, considering it was the Khwarizm, I can't even read it, Empire was the aggressor as an example. Yeah, I think it's a case by case, but it's true that they were very militaristic and expansionistic. Like that is quite unquestionable. But still, yeah. It also depends who's the leader, I guess. Let's see. It would be believable for Bosmer also. Who, the Wood Elves? Before the modern era, resources were quite rare, so they would want to use anything they can. Yeah, but I think you need to be a special kind of evil, Samuel, to be like, oh yeah, let's use human skin to make... I think you have enough, if particularly pastoralists. I don't think you need it. I don't think it's because you need it. I think it's because you want to create... And again, the Mongols did do this. They did use psychological warfare in the sense that they would destroy completely a village, and then they would like execute all the people and then show all the corpses so that people would know and be scared to face them or rebel and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of similar to what happened in Transylvania with the historical Dracula and all he was doing with his enemies, because it's a way to basically scare people. It's mass population control in a way. The team analyzed the leather by using peptide mass fingerprinting, a technique that examines specific proteins in organic samples to determine which kind of animal it was made from. Okay, this result revealed that Herodotus, who lived circa 484 to 425 BC, was accurate in his written assessment of the Scythians' repurposing of human skin. I mean, yes, obviously Herodotus was speaking about it to say, look at these barbarians, they are insane. That's pretty much what he's saying, which is why you never know if you can trust it. You're like, yeah, but is he saying that so that he's basically like telling the people reading, you trying to condition people into the way their perspective towards these Scythians, or is there truth behind it? And both could be real. So if this checks out, then yeah, it confirms Herodotus' words. Yeah, they're exactly St. Nicholas. They'll be very, very like that, yeah. Hey, Mr. Fringe, you're asking. I remember you mentioning, Metatron, once that you have watched atheism versus religion debates. Oh yeah, I watch them all the time. What argument or arguments from the atheist side gave you the most pause? It depends what you mean by pause. So I kind of need you to explain to me what you mean by gave you the most pause, and then so that I don't have to give you too wide of an answer. Yeah, one does not simply take over most of Asia by accident. Oh yeah, they were very, very well organized, by the way. I do have a few videos on the Mongols, and I'd love to make more, because the battle tactics and everything organizational, the organization of the army is fascinating. You can't use that one for every situation, though, Apoc. In a specific situation, you could say that, yeah, totally. But like, why did they invade China? Why did they invade Europe? Why did they attack? Like, it's sometimes, yes, if they are being attacked and they strike back and then they keep going, sure. But it's not like it's always the case. It would be impossible to defend that when you look at actual Mongolian history, to be like, oh no, they only attacked when they were wronged, and then they attacked. It's like they're like the Romans. The Romans were extremely expansionistic, extremely militaristic, very well organized, strong economic backbone, and it's also the system for the Romans specifically, an empire, although even the Republic at that point. These are systems that require to take other people's territories and stuff. It's just how it is. Empires are hungry for territories and for people to subjugate and tax. Also, not to mention the flow of slaves. That was also dramatically important to Roman economy. And it changes, of course. And if you think about it, the Middle Ages are organized differently with feudalism. But then again, in the Middle Ages, and we're not talking about the Holy Roman Empire, but I'm saying in general, in the Middle Ages, you have kingdoms. So kingdoms are smaller as entities, because could you have run the entirety of the Roman Empire without a single slave, all on now on feudalism? That's a very good question to ask, because the Romans did base a lot of, like, maybe you could, but you would have to continue still taking territories and conquer land and that kind of stuff. No, I never researched ancient temples in Peru and Ecuador, Jonathan, but that sounds interesting. And Mr. Fringe clarifies, Metatron by pause. I mean, what argument made you stop and think about it for a while? Yeah, okay. Arguments that usually when I watch good, because a lot of the times I find arguments that I don't find to be that strong. When the arguments are really strong, those don't make me think at all. When there are strong arguments, maybe like the need for suffering, it's a good one. Like particularly like, why do animals suffering? But I do have my response. So up to this point, I've never run into a single argument from like an atheist influencer, whether it be someone I highly respect or whether it's someone that I really dislike, because I got both. But I never had one that really made me think, oh gosh, I would not have an answer for that. Like in my belief system, I would not know how to say it. And that doesn't mean that I know everything, but I'm saying just trying to think if there is one in particular. But yeah, in general, like animal suffering, I think is a pretty good one. And that's it, really. I can't think of any other. You're a huge Captain America fan with the shield, right? Thank you so much, Anotheran, for watching my video for 10 years. Goodness gracious, that's a long time. Thank you for the commitment. I appreciate that. A lot of good talking points already. You guys are great. So can they convince us? Herodotus wrote that Scythian scrapes out human flesh with the rib of a steer and kneads the skin with his hands, and having made it supple, he keeps it for a hand towel, fastening it to the bridle of the horse which he himself rides. That's insane. And taking pride in it. Yeah, there is a part of, you see, it's like because it's the enemies, right? For he who has most scalps for hand towels is judged the best man. So kind of similar a little bit to the Japanese samurai taking enemy heads and bringing them to their leaders, the daimyo. Maybe similar to that. And there is open quotes. Many Scythians even make garments to wear out of these scalps, sewing them together like coats of skin. My gosh, that sounds like a horror movie. Sounds like chaos. Many too take off the skin, nails and all. That's the one I remember reading. From their dead enemies' right hands and make coverings for their quivers. Herodotus wrote. Boom, guys. Boom. Holy moly. It's insane. Barry Cunliffe, a professor emeritus of European archaeology at the University of Oxford, who was not involved in the research, wondered if there could be other reasons, aside from those mentioned by Herodotus, that could help explain why the Scythians used human leather. Let's see. Open quotes. I wonder if what lies behind it is that in processing some part of what you are hunting, be it human or animal, you gain extra power over them. Oh, I don't know if it's that deep, Professor. The belief being that your arrows are guided to your prey by their being kept in proximity to their skin. Close quotes. I think the professor is overreaching now. Cunliffe told Life Science in an email, open quotes. Herodotus also says that the Scythians decorated their horses with the heads of their enemies. Could the thought be that the heads not only displayed your valor, but guided you to your prey? No, I don't see that. What do you guys think? I don't really see it. I think it's just it's a scare tactics. It could be something to increase your status in your warrior society. You could be like, look at me. I've defeated many enemies, and they all they're defeated, and look at me. So that could be one thing. Then you can scare other people, make yourself elevated in your society as a very successful, very strong, fearsome warrior. You don't want to mess with me type of stuff. I can see all of that. This idea that because it's the head has got eyes, so the eyes can see, and so you're guided. Unless you know that that's precisely part of their ritualistic and religious ideas, like you have something written that tells you that, I think they're reaching. Like a form of superstition, if you will, yeah. But then again, it looks like they're just coming out based on what? I don't remember reading anything that says, that even hints towards this. So I think sometimes academics do this. They are guilty of doing this. Sometimes they read too much, they overcomplicate things, but without the basis for it. Not everyone does it, but I'm saying I've seen it happen. So there is that. And then he says the Scythians were not the only people throughout history to use human leather. For instance, binding books with human leather is a practice that has continued from ancient times to the present day. To the present day? What? I'm sorry, who's doing it in the present day? Who's doing it? In 2020, a Life Science investigation into the sale of human remains revealed a 1917 edition of the book Diseases of the Skin by Dr. Richard Sutton that a seller on Facebook claimed to have bound with human skin. Well, then the FBI should ask, where did you get the human skin? Am I right? The seller who sold the book for $6,500 claimed, I think it was a claim to sell the book. Like, what is it, the Necronomicon, second edition, that they had obtained the human skin from a retired medical specimen. Okay, but can you buy that legally? I kind of doubt it, to be honest. I still think it's breaking the law at that point. I don't think you could just do that. Can you do that? I don't know. I guess it depends on what country. It didn't say. Oh, but that's kind of a funny thing to read. Human skin and made a book out of it. You know who I could see do that? I can see Keemstar doing that with Boogie's skin one of these days for views. I wouldn't put that one past him. But apart from that, Wings of Redemption, one of the two. But that's crazy. That is crazy. All right, let's get back to the main. There you go. What do you guys think? I read a story back in the 90s about a poet who had it in his will that he wanted a copy of his poetry to be bound in his skin. The court did not allow it. Well, yeah, who's gonna do it? Who are you gonna pay to do that? And it kind of feels weird. Yeah, it does. Of course it does. Yeah. Yeah, with sociopaths, August, I can see that happening, like some kind of serial killer doing that, but I don't see it as something that you can literally do, like that there is no regulation about it in our society. I guess it depends on the country, maybe, but still. Seems like pure speculation. I agree, Dreamheart. What the professor said, like it's the arrow. They put the fingernail of the enemy on the arrow so that the arrow can lead to the same prey that it was the enemy. I'm like, I don't know, man. I think you're just. And again, it does happen sometimes. The complex thought when it comes to mythology, religion, and all of these things do occur, but you have to read it. Like I need an ancient source that says that. And if you have the ancient source that says that, and then you find the nail, and the nail is precisely used on the arrow, but the sources do say that they believe that, and maybe it's not only sources from that culture, but it may be sources from other surrounding cultures. That the culture says it as a good thing, and then the enemy say, oh, they're nuts because they did that. Then I'm like, okay, I'm open to be like, yeah, these people thought that. But the way it was written there, it sounded like something that a professor is saying just to say something. And it happens a lot. It does. That's why I always say when it comes to like main academia, you should always refer to experts. However, you shouldn't trust them right off the bat, because there are a lot of experts that they can have 67 PhDs and still completely, utterly suck. It just happen and be wrong. It really does happen. And I think the reason why now it's less likely, but it can still happen. And particularly when political messaging gets into it, then you can categorically, once one expert is tainted, that as far as I'm concerned, you can start ditching everything they're saying after you see that they do it a few times. You're like, okay, this expert is gone. This expert is gone at that point. And sometimes they do it for money. So there is that. Sometimes they do it for social points with whatever regime they're following. But this happened a lot in the 1940s. You think that academia in Germany in the 1940s, you think that they didn't push the stuff that the National Socialists, and I'm saying the full thing so I don't have to say NAZI because I don't want to get a yellow dollar signed, but let's say the Austrian Painter Fan Club, you don't think that the Austrian Painters Fan Club didn't have an influence onto academia? They absolutely did. So could you trust academia at that point? Shouldn't you trust the people but they were pushing a lot of the nonsense. So it does happen a lot, unfortunately. It's not always the case. There are a lot of professors, are fantastic experts, phenomenal, but there are telltales and there are red flags, and it's important to arm yourself up. And the good thing about the internet, because a lot of things that happen these days are because sometimes I do think too many people have access to internet and idiots have access to internet. But then again, one good thing is that if you had a professor before and they did a conference, and in the conference you have 80 people watching, and the professor says something completely nonsensical, what are the chances that among those 80 people watching, there will be one that actually knows that specific historical or linguistic or archaeological subject really well, and they can call out the professor? What are the chances? Extremely low. But with the advent of the internet, big shot professors now need to be very careful, because when they point a camera at them and they want to start influencing the masses, the public, not just their little circle, because a lot of PhD theses and that kind of stuff and researchers in the postdoctoral stuff, they write a 300 pages thing that is only read by the same circle of people. 15 people read it and that's the end of it. A lot of it happens like that. So I think that's why academia now, whether it be through massive channels or whether it be because they are guests, they are starting to actually address the public, and this has power of influence. But now they have to deal with hundreds of thousands of people, and the chances of having quite a few people that really know and can find the holes in their stuff is monumental. That's what happens. So to me, that's good. To me, that's a good thing, because now they can't get away with it when they try to push stuff that is false, objectively false. I'm not talking about he said something about quantum physics and high-level mathematics and I don't have the expertise to understand. No, I'm saying they say something and there are people that have the expertise and they can come back, get back to them. And another time they say stuff that now, thanks to the internet, are actually quite simple to double check. And so that's a good thing. That's a plus for me. That's a plus. Yeah. Evil says there was also a highly qualified, in quotations, botanist in the Soviet Union that steered their entire agriculture into famine. Well, yeah, I mean, the Soviet Union, particularly, I don't know what time period you're speaking about, but definitely like under someone like Stalin, it's the same thing as being under someone like the Austrian painter. Because at that point, it's like, yeah, you can't say anything. Like, otherwise, you'll end up in a gulag. So it's like, what are you going to do? That hinders scientific progress and real academic studies. And even under the Aztecs, they were pushing their own propaganda onto the people. And that's, yeah, the powers, the government was doing that. It's not. And the Romans did it too, up to a certain extent. Although then again, the Romans were very pragmatic. So at least when it comes to like discoveries, they weren't gonna be like, no, we are offended by this whatever new type of engine created in Syracuse by our enemy, and because we don't want to say that a Greek Sicilian did it, Archimedes. No, they didn't care about that. They take the technology and they used it. So when it comes to that, of course, but when it comes to the Romans, usually manipulated the public perception of important people. That, oh my gosh, they did it all the time. All the time, whether the person was alive, like a political opponent, or an emperor, or a senator, or a general, or whether it was post-death. It's called the damnatio memoriae, when they destroy everything they have. In fact, sometimes when they go into full damnatio memoriae, it's not that they talk badly about this person. No, they remove the person for public conscience. They will scrap every statue, destroy every image, make illegal everything that speaks about him, burn every book. So at that point, the Romans did that. It's like an extreme extent. But when it comes to the physical sciences, because the Romans had a form of science, although it was different from ours, of course, but they were great. They had engineers, they had mathematicians. When it comes to that, they were serious about it, because it benefited them, benefited the system. Yeah, propaganda, misinformation was also a thing in the Middle Ages, for sure. But I think in the Middle Ages, Elmin, it was a little, because again, a lot less people had access to the universities. A lot of the universities, by the way, are from the Middle Ages, including Oxford is definitely a medieval. And there are other universities that are medieval, and there are a few centers of studies even in the Islamic world that are medieval, but then again, it's not like today that anyone can decide to go to a university. It was a much smaller circle of people, because again, the overwhelming majority during the Middle Ages were farmers. They were the ones that were really running keeping the society up and fed, while the milites, so the fighting percentage, which is a much smaller percentage of knights and men at arms and whatnot, they were the ones that were protecting them, and also sometimes being sent on campaigns. And then you have the clergy, like the triple system in the medieval period. But definitely the bigger chunk of the population were the farmers. You'd have to Google his name. Yeah, don't worry about it, Evil, not a problem. Question from Red. Have you ever thought about doing a video on the Dacians and Zalmoxis? I know it's tricky since they didn't have written records, but it could be cool to explore. On the Dacians, yes, I never thought of the other population, but the Dacians would be nice. I think at one point I wanted to produce one video per population. I started and they didn't do well because YouTube is YouTube. But maybe considering the members, member support, you guys, I might actually end up doing it, particularly if the channel continues to grow when it comes to memberships. Then we could become definitely self-sufficient up to an extent that I could start making videos because you guys like them, and if the system doesn't push them, who cares? They're basically funded by you, which I'm very grateful for, because it allows me to not have to literally strategize single thing about what I produce, which is something really annoying. So once again, thank you for being here, and thank you for being members of the channel. It's really, really nice. And also thank you to everyone who subscribed on Twitch. Really appreciate it. Yes, I did play Overcooked 2 Light 7 Foot 7. We actually played with my wife multiplayer. It's pretty good. They have the Necronomicon in the game. I didn't remember that. I just remember making pizza and pasta. Trofim Lysenko, I see. I didn't know about him. Interesting. Buonasera, Daniel Edwards. Good to have you here, my friend. Couldn't make it up at 6, but I'll stop it for a bit. Hope everyone is having a great Friday. No, it's good to have you. Absolutely, don't worry about it. Overcooked kind of makes my brain hurt. Overcooked can get a little... First few stages are fine, but then as you get into the game further and further down, it becomes like that. If you play 1 or 2 players, it starts to become a little overwhelming. But I think if you play 4 players, it's probably more doable. Like someone does the sauce, someone cooks the pasta, someone dishes up, and someone, you know, brings the food to the people, to the customers. I think that would be good. What's the Koto Fenesti helmet? I don't know, but I can Google it. You can have a look at it. Oh, wow. Oh, yes. No, I am aware of this one. Yeah, for sure. I actually have a video about it if you're interested. I just didn't remember the name. Let me show you. This is the helmet that they were talking about. I think this got stolen, didn't they? Is it one of the 2 helmets that they stole? Because I have a dedicated video. It's gilded, isn't it? Or is it full gold? Might be full gold. Man, this is awesome. Look at this picture here. I don't know if it's gonna buff up. No, because it's 600 pixel by 400. Yeah, we'll have to use our own imagination. Man, I love it when they pair gold with purple, because it's basically yellow and purple, which are contrasting colors, and I love contrasting colors. But man, this looks great. You remember that? Yeah. I just started. My sister and I wanted a kid-friendly game for my nephew. Yeah, oh yeah, Overcooked? Sure. But as I say, it gets a little complicated as you go forward, but it is really funny. It's a fun game. I like it. I think the good way to go into Overcooked is to go into it thinking that even if you lose, it's fine. You'll just retry it. And then again, all you need to get is 1 star. You don't have to get full 3 stars every time and complete it perfectly. So as long as you do that, then you don't get too anxious about it, because it can get you anxious. Dacian gold, it was gold. I remember that. Romania, yeah. Man, it's amazing. Isn't that a fantastic thing about gold? I think that's why gold is a noble metal, of course. And that's what's incredible about it. Gold doesn't deteriorate. It just doesn't rust. It just stays in its way. You might need to repolish it if you want it nice and shiny, but not even that much, like if it gets dust, I mean, and soil. But gold will just stay. 20,000 years, still gonna be there. And that's even longer than that, in fact. I don't know if it's virtually indestructible when it comes to just time, I mean. But gold is phenomenal. You will destroy it, unfortunately, because it's rather soft. If you try and use it, like a mace will destroy this, but time won't. That's what's incredible about gold. Good evening, Gote. That's a gorgeous helmet. It is. We should wear it, shouldn't we? Wow. Wow. Look at the purple light. Man, whoever it is this the museum in Romania? Because if it is, they really got the lighting right. They really got the lighting. If this was silver, I would have done it with blue, because I personally like blue and silver as a combination when it comes, you know, as a color palette. But if it's gold, you've got to pair it with purple. It's like perfect. Perfect. It was stolen. Yeah, that's the one that was stolen. I have a dedicated episode to this, guys, on YouTube. Yeah, I think you could just title, if you look stolen, let me see if I can find it for you, but it's, I do have an episode about it. Metatron stolen gold helmet. There he is. Yeah, look. Boom. Here he is. And I even have clips on my clip channel from it. But yeah, they stole a 2,400 year old. 2,400 years old. That is insane. From a museum. Yeah, it was terrible that this happened. I mean, I think it also began as somewhat of an international incident. What I should have done with the thumbnail, I should do it with purple rather than with blue. I'll probably touch it up. I'll touch it up, guys. I'll touch it up. Yeah, it won't corrode, exactly. Marox. Thieves most likely melted it down. That's what they were saying on the on the articles that I read, but I don't know. I mean, isn't there like a market? Because if you melt it for the gold, then it only has the value of the weight in gold. But if you sell it, as you manage to sell it to some crazy collector as the 2,400 years old artifact that it is, I think then you would multiply the value exponentially. So I do believe I don't think it got melted because it would be. I understand that if you melt it, then it's safer, I suppose. But I mean, if someone goes into this kind of heist, they probably have the connections to sell it into the dark market to some crazy private collector who's just gonna keep it somewhere hidden. Some thieves aren't that smart. It's possible, but they were still smart enough to do this heist and get away with it. So it doesn't sound like, it sounds like there is a method behind this. I really hope it didn't get melted. That would be such a horrible thing. But then again, if they just wanted to melt gold, aren't there other, like, couldn't they go to jewelry at that point? Wouldn't that be easier than a freaking museum? Unless this museum was like comically stupid, and which kind of was, honestly, when it comes to the security, unfortunately. Yeah, it would be beyond priceless hold. That's what I think. So you could probably get, I don't know how much you could get, but probably, yeah, I can't even, I wouldn't be surprised if it would be in the millions to sell this as is, you know? Tyrian purple, to be precise. Is it? Ooh, I need to know that. Tyrian purple. Let's be precise. Tyrian purple, is it? Tyrian purple. Well, as usual, when you write that, so in fabric, I think you're correct. They also call it imperial purple. In fabric, it does look like it. It's very beautiful. Then you also get these, but at this point, it doesn't look like it much. But in clothes, it really does. Wow, that's a beautiful, Tyrian purple. Tyrian kind of makes me think of Tyrion from the High Elves. Look at this color. It's a gorgeous color. No wonder in antiquity purple was expensive. It was expensive because of the complexity and rarity of it, but it's also because it does have a very, I'm gonna say, noble upper class feel to it, but maybe that's because it literally was an upper class color for so long that now we're kind of skewed in our perception of it. It could also be social, like a social construct. It does have a royal, regal, if that's even a word, feel to it, though, regardless. Yeah. I try not to underestimate how dumb humans can be. I always fail, though. I see. I understand that, for sure. You always said imperial purple. Yeah, that's a nice way to say it as well. It's like, does Gandalf look like a wizard, or do wizards look like Gandalf? It's a very good question. Probably. Huh, that's a good question. We would have to see what wizards looked like before the Lord of the Rings was written. If there was, but then again, there was nothing even close to the way fantasy, like the fantasy that we think of. There was of course, his fantasy was based on ancient, mostly medieval, but also ancient mythology, clearly, and then he reinterpreted it and made it in with his own spin, which was a phenomenal spin, and then sort of, influenced the way fantasy developed on D&D and all the other versions of fantasy. Everything really comes from Lord of the Rings. But then again, Lord of the Rings on itself comes from mythology. But I do wonder, the idea of having magical power is everywhere, but the idea of the wizard with the long beard and the pointy hat, did he invent that? Maybe. Yeah, Dreamheart, I agree. You say, I think blue can have a royal feel because of its natural scarcity among the natural world. It's possible, although then again, do we know that? Because it's very scarce, but it's in fact scarcer because a lot of it is illusory. It's an illusion, but we do see it in the sea and in the sky, so then it's not scarce, really. I wonder. I love blue, though. In Rome, they could have a cheap blue, and they could make a very expensive blue when it comes to dyes. Purple is always expensive, but blue depends. Blue depends on the hue. Papa Nurgle agrees. Yeah. I mean, there are sorcerers in other stories before Lord of the Rings. True, but what do they look like? That's really what we're trying to identify here. Did they look like now the way we imagine a wizard in the most common version? I love the Final Fantasy spin to Magic. I love that they divide Magic users by color. It's something I've always loved. White mage, black mage, red mage. I always loved that. And I think the color coding of Magic users is a Final Fantasy idea that then goes on to other versions in other fantasy. Dragon Age had a pretty good spin with the idea of having Blood Mage. The Blood Mage, the one that is illegal. It's pretty cool as well. But I love Final Fantasy. Oh, you're right. Gandalf the Grey, the White. True, but it's still a different version of how Final Fantasy does it. I think Final Fantasy really killed it with that. And one thing I love about Final Fantasy, and I wonder if this is something that in early D&D was also there, is I love that in Final Fantasy, if you use healing magic against the undead, you damage them. Isn't that so cool as an idea? Is it even present in D&D? Does it happen? Because in Final Fantasy, sure, you can heal the undead and it will damage them. You resurrect an undead, you kill it. I love it. I love it. Heal hurts undead in first edition D&D. Really? Not anymore. That's a shame. I love it as an idea. I really like it as an idea. I think it's so cool because it makes you feel like you're using the system. You know, like I understand if you wanted to, like what I could do if it becomes too meta gaming and you're like, yeah, because now basically white mages end up being more useful than battle mages and warlocks. I get it. But then a solution would be, it works, but it only works with like lower tier undead, like skeletons and zombies and whatnot. But if you're fighting like a vampire lord, it's not going to work because it's too much of a powerful creature. That like I would balance it that way as a DM rather than or a system writer rather than being like, no, you can't do it anymore, because I just think it's such a cool idea. 3.5 is the GOAT. 5 edition D&D is basically a D&D for toddlers when it comes to mechanical depth. Oh, that's a shame. I haven't played much in 5th, and I never DM'd in 5th. I only DM'd in original D&D first edition, and then with the advanced Dungeons and Dragons rules, the blue book, I DM'd that one, and that's it. So I'm talking like I used to DM in the freaking 90s, guys. So it's like I don't know anything about. As a player, I played a little bit. I skipped third edition, and then I entered 3.5, and then I played as a player a little bit on 5th. But when you're a player, I just do what the DM says. I never really read it. I didn't read the manuals. Manuals look pretty good though. 5th edition, like graphic wise, they look very nice. I honestly like less math and more imagination in my tabletop games. That's fair. That's fair. We're having a great stream, by the way. This is great. I think the idea of wizard laws being color separated comes from Warhammer. Does it? Are they called like that? Because I remember 5th edition, 6th, 7th, played those, 8th. And then I played 9th Age, but that's, of course, unofficial. Pretty good, to be fair. Any math is automatable now, I guess. Oh, because of the platforms like Roll20. Yeah, that's what we used when we played online, like on Skype and whatnot. And then we used Roll20 precisely. Yeah. Or for the Empire, I see. I do have an Empire army, and I'm thinking of selling it because I have too many armies. And the only reason, so I have my High Elf army is my main, never gonna sell it. My Bretonnian is my second, never gonna sell it. I do want to keep my 2 evil armies. I have a Dark Elf army and a Mortal Chaos army. And I want to keep them because I like having evil armies so I can lend them to someone who doesn't have an army and we can have a nice battle. That's my idea. That's why I started collecting them. And then I do have a bunch of dwarves, but the reason is I have like a battalion of dwarves. It's not a full army, but I have enough to do a smaller battle. And the only reason why I have the dwarves is because they were beautifully painted. And this guy was selling them, the entire battalion, fully painted. And I'm talking 150 minis and maybe more, maybe 200 minis. And he was selling them for like 30 bucks. So I was like, I'll buy it. I'll buy it. I'll just buy it for the artistic beauty of it. So I bought them all, gave him the money, and this was in Italy. And that's why I also have a dwarven army. It's because they're beautifully painted and they cost me nothing. But then I also acquired an Empire full army. But I got it because my dad likes the Empire, so I just got it for him. But now he doesn't really care. And besides, we don't even live together anymore, of course, because I live here in America. So now I have this Empire army that I don't really care about. So I may eventually sell it. Metatron playing with his friend. Here, you can have the ugly controller. Oh yeah, but you have no idea. My Chaos army is gorgeously painted. So here you can have the beautiful controller is really what I'm telling them. Because the entire army is painted and some of the minis look great. I might show you if you want to see. I might show you. Daniel Edwards, odd question. How do you like your chair? I've been looking at a model for a bit and would love a long-term review rating. This one is pretty good, but I don't remember what it's called. We upgraded to it recently. I think I found it in a local store. I don't remember if I bought it online. The previous one we bought online. This one I think I just found it, I believe, but I don't remember what it's called. It's pretty good though. And I mean, I spend a lot of hours on this chair. I do try to, you know, exercise, but I do spend a lot of time. It's mostly corn, yeah. It's mostly corn, a corn army. Yeah. Hey, Secret Swords, first stream I managed to catch. Hey, no problem. Good night. But every time I'm always live 5 p.m. Central, if you want to know. $30 for 200 mini. It was crazy. Yeah, no, it would cost more. I could sell it for like 10 times, not more than that. I could sell it for like 20 times that price, probably, because they're beautifully painted. It's just that this guy had a main dwarven army, and he had thousands of minis. He's crazy. And he said he just didn't have space for this battalion, so he just sold it. He might have as well just gifted it at that point, but I was happy to give him 30 bucks, and maybe he went out with his girl for dinner, and I'm like, yeah, let me give you $30. Absolutely, 30 euros, sorry. But yeah. Are you excited for the upcoming Slaanesh DLC for Warhammer 3? I didn't even know about it. That's pretty cool though, if they're doing it. I'm looking forward to play more Oblivion. So I like Oblivion Remaster, but I'm starting to find things that I'm not sure I like. So they have reinvented the models for a lot of enemies. And so far I like the models for the armor sets. Maybe one of the male armors looked a little, like I would have put a bit more contrast on it, but in general they look good. But I noticed that some of the enemies, they made some changes that I'm like, I don't know if I like that. So I'll have to see, because there are things I like about Warhammer, of course, but I hate that they removed the first-person view from horseback. That's ridiculous. I don't even know why they did that. But yeah. Red asks a question. What do you think about the pater familias system in Rome? Do you think it was often abused by fathers, especially towards their wives, kids, and slaves? I imagine, but then again, even if you don't have the pater familias, you could still, if you're an asshole, you're an asshole. So at that point, it was just part of the system, I suppose. And when it comes to slaves, it really depends, because there are, it depends on the era and depends who's ruling. There were some emperors that actually put down the law when it comes to slaves, and you had to be very careful not to be too mean to your slaves, because you could end up losing the slaves. And if you like were chastising a slave, for instance, and which from our point of view is a horrible thing, but from the point of view of a Roman, it's not, because to the Romans, a slave is an object that you own. It's literally a tool. It's a tool that speaks. That's how the Romans mentioned them. But then again, there were these laws that at one point, if you were chastising a slave and you accidentally ended their lives, you would be put in prison. So like it's, there are laws that at least provided some protection for slaves, luckily. But yeah. That's right, APOC. Yeah, regardless of the system, people will find ways to be horrible to other humans. But clearly, it's, yeah. I'm glad that we don't have slavery anymore. But still, I don't know how much the connection to the concept of paterfamilias from a legal perspective really facilitated that. It did, probably up to a certain extent. I would agree with you, sure. But then we would have to look at case by case with the families, because you could still have a family where, yeah, they have the paterfamilias, but he's a decent man, he's a good man, and yeah, he's just the head of the family, and then he has some legal rights because of it. I would disagree with that. APOC narcissists are still people. It's not like they stop being people. But then again, I understand where you're coming from. Yeah, it's like, the expression, "Oh, that's an dishuman or an unhuman thing to do," and then I'm like, no, unfortunately, that's pretty human. That's the problem with being human. Being human has wonderful things, and it also has horrible things. But it's all being human. So it's kind of interesting, and that's why I'm glad that in English you kind of change the pronunciation when you want to look at the positive aspect of being human. Then you say that something is humane. But still, the bad things are also being human, which is really, I think, that the negative aspects that we should try and reject, fight against, and the dark side of our nature. But that's what I mean, APOC. You say all the humanity has been removed. That's because you only use humanity. It's not only you. I'm just discussing at a linguistic level. It's because you use the word humanity only to mean positive things. But torture is something exclusive to humans. Animals don't do it. So we could say that from a from a descriptive standpoint, it is a human thing. It is human to torture exclusively. And that's just the first thing that popped to my head right now. So I do understand linguistically. You're right. That's how we use it. But then if you really think about it, it can become a deep discussion onto what it means to be human, both on a positive aspect and a negative aspect. Hey, Alcuin, thank you for becoming a member. Welcome to the inner circle, my friend. If you have any question, this is your time to shine, my friend. Apoc says there is animals that torture. We'll have to see, because I haven't seen it. I could be wrong, so you could be right. But even then, is it going to be as sophisticated as what we do? No. No. And so at that point, we can still argue. Like, I know ants declare wars, and they are pretty terrible. So yeah, the animal kingdom does have their own wars. But there are definitely negative aspects of things that we do as humans that animals don't do, because only we have the intelligence to do them. And they exist. Oh, that's funny. Evil says, if vegetarians only eat vegetables, what do humanitarians eat? Huh? Yeah, the war, I know. Sure. War does happen. And again, I watched a couple of documentaries on the type of wars, and I'm talking extermination wars that ants do. It is it's diabolical. It is diabolical, guys. Cats do play with their food, that's true. The human race excels at destruction. That's true, yeah, Marox, because if you think about it, no animal could ever invent something like nukes. We are the ones, if there is one species and it's going to destroy the planet, it's us. So that's another thing that humans can do and animals can't. Animals, in fact, are very well adapted to their environment. Humans are not. We are not well adapted. You can, if you take a baby animal, and they are ready to go oftentimes, depends, particularly predators. Well, actually, no, predators are a little slower, believe it or not, but prey, like a few minutes and they're good to go. They're good to run, prey animals. And a lot of the animal kingdom, they have the fur, they are adapted to their environment, they naturally part on the environment. Humans have to modify the environment to survive, and our babies are like They can't survive without us. You strongly disagree? Feel free to present your counter argument. Looking forward to it. The Alcuin asks, in the future, would you ever use AI to create an ancient Mediterranean fighting video game similar to Street Fighter or Tekken? The lore could be epic. I wouldn't use AI to do it, no. But the idea is cool. So maybe an actual studio. Sure. Hey Adriel, hi Metatron, what are you doing today? What's the topic of today? Oh, we're talking about everything. We went from purple to blue to a golden helmet to what it means to be human to the Scythians skinning their enemies. It seems like it's one of those live streams, I think. And Dreamheart says, well, it's a lot easier to destroy something quickly than it is to build something that lasts. Yeah, sure. I agree with that. I agree with that. Totally. An ant with human intelligence will do the same. That's an interesting point, Apoc, that you bring up. Yeah, maybe if an ant would develop into that, yeah, sure. Didn't happen, though. It is fascinating that it didn't happen, in fact. But we do need to modify the environments to meet our needs, as Vain Pride is saying. Yes, that's what we do. Because if you take a human, naked, take a human completely naked and put him in a jungle, or put him in the polo, in the North Pole, or put them in a desert, we don't survive. But the animals, the fauna of those areas, they survive the way they are. We humans always have to intervene and modify, which is one of the reasons why, if we connect it to the Bible, for instance, I find it fascinating that the word create in Genesis 1:1, bara, that word in the Bible is also used in the sense of modifying. They use it, of course, in 1:1 is used with that meaning of creating, although then again, whether it's creating from nothing or not, it's a highly debated topic linguistically when it comes to Semitic languages. But I'm not going to go into that right now. But then again, they do use it in other passages when they like cut the trees of a forest to reorganize it, or when they bonify, is that a word, a swamp, so that it can be inhabited. They use the same word. And it's quite obvious that in that case, the population in the Bible is not creating a swamp from nothing, but they are modifying it to their benefit. And I find it so fascinating that that is exactly the same word that is used in the way God created the land and the skies, heaven and earth, but literally means the land, the soil, and the skies. Fascinating stuff. In the green wilds, you could adapt maybe. Yeah, but you are going to have to kill animal, take their fur, make clothes. Then you're going to have to create weapons, because good luck fighting a bear, bare hands. We don't have claws. And as I say, we don't have the fur like the animals do. Well, I do. I have quite a lot of fur. So maybe I could like wrap this one around my body like this, like a spiral wave. Maybe I could do that. But yeah, as I say, like animals, they're out of the box, built for survival. Yeah, I know, Marox. It's a funny idea for me. But whatever we think, if we imagine, if we take a bunch of humans and put them in a jungle or put them in the North Pole, can they survive? Yes. Do they need to modify stuff? Yes. It's automatic. We always have to modify the environment, and we've been doing it since the prehistoric period, which is one thing that, in fact, Apoc was bringing up, and I really agree with that, when you were saying, like, we have the same intelligence as humans had when it comes to modern humans. In the Bronze Age, in the prehistoric period, we have the same intelligence. And we're not more intelligent. We just have access to a lot more generations of cumulative knowledge that gives us the computers. But it's not like someone in the Bronze Age, they used what they used and they did incredible things, which is why we always marvel on channels like this, like mine, when we figure out, oh, they did that with freaking wood and iron. Yes, they did, because the intelligence is the same. And you always have the exceptional individual, and then you have the regular population, but you had exceptional individuals with extreme intelligence even in the freaking Neolithic period. You still had them. It's just that the more you accumulate, and besides, it's not a linear technological growth, it is a curve, because the difference between the last 100 years is more pronounced than the difference in the last 10,000 years. So there's that. And definitely in the last like 2,000 years, the difference between, there was really, in the Middle Ages, like now we talk about decades, the difference between how things were in the 80s, between the 90s and the 2000s is so different. But really that difference wouldn't have been there between 980, 990 and year 1000. Probably the population would have been almost same thing. It wouldn't have changed as much. It will change because there is a big difference, like in military stuff. Between decades, you can start seeing some differences, but that's about it. And architectural and structural things, but it takes longer. The difference between the devices we use now and the devices that we were using 10 years ago or in the 60s is enormous. Usually I would say, like, even in the medieval period, and even more so if you go into like the Bronze Age, the difference between generations, you would live kind of the same life as your parents would, unless there is like a major political difference, like a completely different country is now your overlords. Sure, then you have a different thing. But imagine that nothing happens for like 40, 50 years, 60 years, you're gonna live the same life with the same tech most of the times. And it's fascinating. And if we put that into the time span of prehistory, then you're gonna go for thousands of years with no difference whatsoever in the tech and the way of living. And it's fascinating. The fast evolving of this century, mind-blowing, and I'm happy to be here. But how is it gonna be in like 3000? How is it gonna be? What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? Metatron tangled crossover. Let's go, St. Nicholas. Let's go. There is a really good quote I want to post about whether humans or dolphins are smarter from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but it would be $100 super chat. Oh, it doesn't need to be $100 super chat, friend. But yeah, that's really cool though. It's a good question. I think it's a different type of intelligence at the point. Plenty of animals are evolved to modify their environment. Could you give me some examples, Apoc? But definitely there is no example you can give me that is as much as ours. Like the way we modify the environment, no other animal does it. Have I ever watched Mythbusters? Yeah, Dreamheart. Yeah, I did, I think, but a long time ago, I think. It's a different way, sure, Apoc. I agree. If Da Vinci was alive today, he would be cracking out Gundam mech suits. Ooh, that'd be nice. That would be nice. Red asks a question. I remember seeing a video some time ago saying that lead pipes in the Roman Empire affected behavior, causing aggression and paranoia. Do you think it really had that kind of impact on them? It's I've looked into it and I made a video about it. I think it's exaggerated, but now I don't remember. So I would actually refer you to myself in the past when I had read the things fresh. And I do remember people bringing this up, but I don't know how true it is. I'll have to review the data once again, or you could check out my dedicated video. It's a video where I was debunking Simon Whistler, but I was mostly debunking him because he was pushing this idea of Rome salting Carthage, which is nonsense. It never happened. Rome never shed salt onto the ruins of Carthage. It's not true. No one says it. There's no ancient author that says it. And I actually tracked down and tried to find who began this myth, because it is a myth. And it's relatively recent, maybe in the last couple of 100 years, and that's it. That's as far as in the back as I could go. When it comes to salting the earth. It is a practice that they used in the Middle East and the Near East, but for more ritualistic aspects and practices. But it wasn't something like, oh, now that we destroyed Carthage, we're gonna... Could you imagine the amount... Even for a second, I did a deep dive into this. So I brought you all the evidence. But even without the evidence, okay? Could you imagine the amount of salt that you would have needed with the price of salt, the importance of salt in the period. Could you imagine the amount of salt? Because you're not talking about just a little bit. No, we're talking about, because people pushing this idea, then they make it exaggerated. They're not saying, oftentimes, they sprinkled a little bit of salt symbolically. No, they say, no, they salted the earth so nothing could grow back. Really? Like, apart from the fact that it's ridiculous, it's moronic, because that land is yours now. So what you gonna do? Why would you do that? It's like, it's ridiculous. Like, no, it's your land. You want to use it. You want to make money off of it. That's how the Roman operated. But even if you're like, yeah, but they hated them so much. Imagine all of those arable land, all the coastline, everything full with the amount of salt, transportation alone, the logistics of an operation like that. Bring all of the salt, waste it. How long would it take? Not months of operation, all the salt, like all these legionaries cutting down these bags of salt everywhere. To do what? To do what? Like, it didn't happen. It just didn't happen. It's not. Yeah, I know in school they say it. I remember it. It's people saying it in school too. It's one of those myths that people repeat just because someone else said it, but they never actually. Okay, but who said it? Who's the Roman general, writer, historian that says it? No one. No one says it. I looked for it. I looked Plutarch, Livy, and I found a lot of mentions of Carthage. Pre-destruction, post-destruction. They lament the destruction of some of the buildings. They do. No one mentions the salt. Not even one. Isn't that fascinating, though? But I just love when I imagine the actual functional aspect of it. Would they do it? What would that look like? Even today, you would have to bring in their ships, like their big ships. Then you would have all of the different trucks and load them with the salt and then start moving. Maybe we would have to use helicopters to kind of drop it. All of this salt everywhere in all this land. And yeah, it didn't happen. I'm pretty confident after looking into it, it didn't happen. So whenever I read it, it makes me laugh. Yeah, of course. Yeah, exactly, Pill. It's like salt is valuable. Now, sometimes people push that one a bit too much because people say that the word salary comes from the Latin word salarium, which is true. But then people say that ancient Roman soldiers were paid in salt. This is, I'm going to be pedantic here, but it's kind of technically incorrect. It's not, because when you say that the Roman soldiers were paid in salt, you're saying that salt was the way they were paid. This was the money that they received. No, the Roman soldiers were paid in money, in actual talents, whatever it is, depending on the period, sesterces. So the Roman soldiers were paid in regular pay, but they were also giving an allowance. And this allowance included a certain amount of wheat, and this wheat would be swapped for barley if you were punished. But in general, a certain allowance of wheat that you can use to make your biscuits, your hardtacks, or your food, or your pulse, or your soup, whatever you want. And then they were also given a certain amount of salt. And yeah, so they did receive it, and it was something that they could use either for cooking, but they could also use it as a preservative for like meats, for instance. And yeah, and it had a value because you didn't have refrigerators in ancient times, so salt was one of the ways in which you could preserve your food, and it was good to have because again you could make your food taste better. So yeah, it's a valuable commodity that Roman legionaries were receiving an allowance of. So it's true. It's part of something, but it would be, if you say that that's their salary technically in the modern sense, that's their stipend, then you would be saying that about wheat as well. Is wheat the way they were paid? No, it was part of their allowance. So it is true. It's just that I think people, as usual, sometimes push it a little more. It's like the game of telephone. But yeah, it is true that the word salary comes from that, the salarium, and it's just one of those things. So yeah, exactly. It'll be like today, soldiers get paid, fed, sheltered, and given equipment. I think it's just with the Romans, we know that they were given each contubernium, so 8 fighting men and 2 slaves. That's a contubernium. Each contubernium was given a mortar to help mortar and pestle to produce their food. We're not sure if it's 1 per contubernium or 1 per 2 contubernia, so 16 fighting men, 20 operatives, 20 men. We don't know exact the numbers because these numbers come from the Byzantine period when it comes to the number of mortars. So we're not sure. The ancients don't tell us the exact number of mortars. There's a lot of mortars, though, if you consider like a average Roman legion, 5,500 fighting men. That's a lot of mortars. How many would it be with you guys doing the maths? Maybe, what, between 3 to 700? I'm just going to rough it like this, approximate it like this. But it's a lot of mortars. It's a lot of mortars. Rome should get more credit. I agree, Baby Yoda. Yeah, it's a lot of mortars, Marox, exactly. If we had to believe this information found in Byzantine archives, then yeah. When did they start using Greek as their main language? I want to say, I don't know if it happened before this, already before the schism, but I can't pinpoint an exact date. I'm sure someone will Google it. Let's go, member stream. Yeah, Ernia, good to have you here. Every Friday, guys. Every Friday. And thank you, the King of Pudding, for gifting 5 subscribers on Twitch. I really appreciate that. We're going to play some games tonight on Twitch. And tomorrow night. Well, tomorrow night I can't be sure because tomorrow... No, maybe not tomorrow night because tomorrow I have a board game afternoon with friends. We're going to play board games. It's going to be good. Yeah, someone with no gear, St. Nicholas, exactly. Yeah, they had to grind their own food, the Romans, absolutely. The soldiers. That's what I would think, because Greek was already an important language in Rome. Even in Western Rome, Greek was an important language. But then again, I guess it depends. It would be interesting to see when it actually becomes the de facto language. But yeah, Greek was a big deal, at least with the aristocratic Romans. They learned Greek because it was the language of culture. Ancient Greek is and even modern Greek, I love modern Greek, but I'm saying in period, in context, ancient Greek was a power language. It was incredible. Very sophisticated. Oh, I didn't really talk about where Rome acquired the salt, but you can acquire the salt from the sea. You can acquire the salt in a way that we still do in Sicily with it's like the sea reaches an area, then you cut it off, then the water is removed and it's disconnected from the water, and they take the seed. That's how we produce sea salt even today, and I think the Romans had that. Other times you can mine it, but I don't remember the exact details specifically. But in Sicily, we have some interesting saline. I'm going to show you. Even today, we have a lot of production of salt in Sicily. Saline siciliane. Yeah, there we go. This is what I'm talking about. Abi, hello.
Hello.
So that's how we make salt in Sicily.
Oh, you need some air on in here.
Yeah. Could you turn it on? Thank you.
Yes.
It is getting a little hot.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
Salt pans. Hello.
What have y'all been doing up here?
Been talking.
Metatron. Yay.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, is that what I think it is?
Yeah.
Oh, we need to show them.
I was going to bring it up to you because I was thinking of starting Rivendell.
Yeah, sure. Look at what we've got. She did that. It's Lego. It's Lego Optimus Prime, Commander, as I know him.
Look at him. He's so cool.
She brings me collectible stuff.
And then I didn't bring all of his little gadgets.
Oh, that's fine. He looks great.
I'll get them
He looks great.
minute. And he does transform. You can put him into his truck shape.
That's
But
great.
I'm not going to do that right now. But look, he has his
Yeah, look at that.
his little machine gun.
His little rifle, yeah.
Yeah.
You say she did a great job, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Looks
Thank
great.
you, Daniel.
We need to put him in the case.
With Bumblebee?
In the glass case, yeah.
I'll put him right here for now.
Yeah, I'm just afraid he's gonna maybe lay in down because I don't want him to fall.
I don't know if he can lay down.
No?
I'll just put him.
Yeah.
I'll put him right here.
Yeah, so he can't fall. That's good. It's a good plan. Good plan. She's a strategist.
I'm putting the phone phone in front of him.
That's good.
So
Yeah, and then I'll put him in the glass case with Bumblebee.
okay.
So we got both.
Can I show them Bumblebee?
Yeah, please do. Yeah, she's gonna show you Bumblebee, guys. Very interactive stream today. You should have a different collectible on that small table every stream. That's a good idea. I'll do that. But look at that. I love the yellow. I love the way it looks. I think that these Legos are really good.
Yeah, and Bumblebee, I started making him in the car.
Yep.
What,
Shape,
Metatron
yeah.
is married? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
He's
married.
been
Yeah.
married.
I've been married for what? 3-4 years has it been? Yeah.
No. It's been 3 years.
3, yeah.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
3 years, guys.
Holy shit. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. I did not realize that.
Time flies past so quick, says Marox, and he's right.
No, it flies so quick. How?
Yeah, I can get cheese, exactly.
Oh yeah. Are you hungry? Do you need anything?
No, not really, no, but thank you.
I think I'm going to start working on a Rivendell.
Yeah, you should do
I'm
that.
so excited about it.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. Man, it's a massive one. I don't know if this is solid enough. I'm just saying, just in case. Yellow, yeah, say Nicholas. It's a nice yellow.
Yeah, it is a nice yellow.
It's a nice bright yellow. That's what I like.
It's a happy yellow.
It's a happy yellow. I have the original 1984 Marvel Transformer comics first print. Really,
Wow, that's
Ernia?
cool.
Wow, I love collectibles like that. We were looking at this beautiful color.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So what have y'all been doing? Y'all gonna play anything? Or
Just
do anything?
talking,
Chat.
watching stuff, and
Thank you, Trent.
thank you, Trent, for the support. You talked about tech being different today. Do you think that humans suffer from different diseases today? Oh yeah, for sure. There are diseases that went completely extinct, luckily, and there are diseases that are still around. And are there any new diseases? I imagine, but then again, I'm not a virologist, so I wouldn't know the exact ones that are like maybe they didn't have it in Bronze Age. But yeah, there is stuff that went extinct, luckily.
And
Yeah.
Hara says, "Yo, you're gonna have a great time at Rivendell. I'm so excited about it. I can't wait. I think I'm not really prepared for how big it is. Like I know it's big, but I think once I start, I'm gonna be like, oh no.
Mm-hmm. I think you're gonna
What did I get
love
myself into?
No, I think you're gonna enjoy it because you're good with Legos like that.
I love them. They're so nice. Okay, well I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
I won't
okay,
keep
thank
I
you.
was just gonna bring you Optimus, but
Appreciate.
bye, chat.
Thank you.
Have a good stream.
Thank you. Hey, Skids, thank you for becoming a member. I really appreciate that. Welcome to the inner circle. Hara says you'll love it.
Thank you, Hara.
And they say bye. Metatron needs more pudding. You're correct, the king of pudding. You're absolutely right. I don't need more pudding. Be nice to have some pudding today. Let me see if I can find more information on the analysis of those ancient Scythians in the meantime. I want to see if I can find something. I'm kind of fixated on that because I want to know if it's true. You know, I'm curious like that. That's how it all started. The other night we played Alien Trilogy. Man, it was fun. Ooh, the professor. The professor got back with us. I call him the professor. He's my lead researcher. He's a beast. Classicist. Excellent. There we go. Yeah, he seems to, he confirms it. He confirms it. So, and then of course he says, I remember Herodotus, and I did remember that myself. He says that he remembers a few archaeology articles that do confirm the excavation. So it seems like that this is not necessarily a new thing. It, as usual, something goes viral, but then it's not new. So it seems like it's real. That was a rapid reply. Oh yeah, we are like this. And the reason we are like this is because we're a good team. And whenever we research videos together, we are like boom, boom, boom. It's a very active team, the one we have when it comes to specifically the people that help me with the research. Like the people that help me with thumbnails, sometimes they can take their time because I always give them plenty of idea. But when it comes to research, we have to be like this, like boom, 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 back and forth. So yeah. The professor is the goat. Yeah, I gave him that nickname, the professor. He's a former archaeologist, 2 years in Syria. Excellent. Like when it comes to the Celts, the Celtic populations are his specialty, but he's phenomenal with ancient Rome and ancient Greece. And usually he's pretty confident all the way up to the Middle Ages. He's the one that helps me with that. Then when it comes to Egypt, I have an Egyptologist that helps me. And then if we're looking at anthropological stuff, then I have an anthropologist in the team. This is the team that doesn't exist according to my haters, by the way. But I always like saying this because it's such a stupid thing. Like all of the haters, particularly when I was talking about Cleopatra and that ruffled some feathers, how dare I? And I remember they were like, oh yeah, he's got an astronaut. And I mean, maybe one day. But it's like, yeah, the astronaut and this alleged team that it's just in his head and they don't exist. And they don't understand that they're complimenting me. Because if that were the case, and it's just a figment of my imagination, I don't actually have a team of researchers that help me do make my scripts. And well, I make the scripts, but I base the scripts on the research from them and my own research. If that was real, it means that every single episode out of my 1,200 videos is me. You're complimenting me at that point, because these are people these are excellent specialists from academia. So basically you're telling me it's all me. So I know I'm a jack of all trades. Goodness gracious, I know as much as PhD specialist in Egyptology, and this guy, and then the anthropologist, she has a postdoctoral degree, but I somehow I know all of it. I know it all. I know the same level of a postdoctoral in anthropology without having studied anthropology. That's fantastic, man. Meta genius, literally. From the mouth of my haters, guys. I don't even have to build counter arguments. I just use their own arguments to my advantage. This is how it is. I don't even need to. So that's what it is. So funny. Ernia says, man, I wish my team was so efficient at work. Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on the situation. One thing I do is that I pay them well. I think that's one of the ways I ensured efficiency. It works. Hey, what was your first video? It's a video about gaming. I think I was playing either Terra Online or StarCraft. One of the two. Maybe Terra, in fact, is my very first. Because, at the very beginning of my channel, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So what I did is that I tried a bunch of things. I made gaming videos. I made videos where I was playing the piano, videos about languages, videos about history, videos about helmets. And then I made videos about something else I don't even remember. And then after I made a few, like 50 or 60 videos, I noticed that the helmet ones were the videos that were doing the best. And that's why the channel actually changed its trajectory and went more into civilization, military history, weapons, armor, and then it evolved into where we are now. But yeah, that's why in the beginning, the first couple of years, you'll see I have a lot of videos on languages as well. I have quite a lot of videos on gaming, but now I have the dedicated specialized channels, the gaming channel and the language channel, because it works better that way. Because if you have a channel that is too much of a jack of all trade, then what happens is that you will inflate the number of people subscribing, but then imagine that a third of those people are here for gaming. Every time I post something on history, they're not going to watch. And likewise, if people come here only for language content, then when I post gaming and history stuff, they're not going to watch. And that doesn't really help. So that's why I decided to redirect and specialize with a gaming and a language channel. So now my language content and gaming content only goes on those channels. And this one remains for civilization, history, the ancient past, the Middle Ages, feudal Japan, and that kind of stuff. I think it's better as a strategy. And I wish I did that earlier. Man, I wish you were my boss, Zernia. Yeah, I guess. So yeah, that was my first video. Say Nicholas. Let's see if I'm right. I'm gonna check. It's easy for me to check. I can check it with you because it's one click. I go into my content, so I'll show you a little bit of behind the scenes. This is my channel. Yeah, that's the latest video I just posted. And then if we go into date, first video, September, the 24th of September 2013. Indeed, it was Terra, and I think it's in Italian. It's a 3-minute video, and the second one is StarCraft. Man, I nailed it. I still remember it. Then I did StarCraft 2, Dragon Nest, very gaming, and then the Divine Comedy by heart. Somehow I started doing the Japanese lessons, you see, Japanese lessons because I was a teacher at school, and boom, I start talking about points on swords, and on April 9th, 2014. And if you notice, yeah, the Japanese lesson actually did pretty well as well, but yeah, 16K there. And then I'm playing an Xbox game, then languages again, tongue twisters. This is an Italian, more gaming, me playing the piano, Chopin. And then it's a lot of what stuff that you would now recognize as my channel. And then boom, 59,000. It's a video game rant, but it's me in plate armor talking about that stuff, and a lot of, there we go. The helmet videos is really when it started going really well. The helmet videos, which you see here. And that's why I decided that's what it's gonna be. Yeah. But there is a lot of gaming content in the early stages on the channel, and quite a lot of language. Me dressed up as a Templar did well. How to fix your HDMI, 400,000 views. Goodness gracious, seriously. Katana, dual wielding, crossbow, yeah, that's the kind of stuff. It's good fun. Board game review, Arcade. Yeah, that's me. Trent, thank you for the support. 100 Metatrons versus a gorilla. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know, man. Because I can fly. Can they fly? I don't think they can fly. So my money's on the Metatron then. 100 Metatrons versus one gorilla. That's so funny. The Metatrons, guys. We vote for the Metatrons. You find me 2015, so very early on, Marox then. Chopin rules, says Pillbox. I agree. Chopin and Rachmaninoff are my favorite. StarCraft 2 is super hard, but it was fun before Activision took over. Yeah, I used to play it, StarCraft 2, like competitively a little bit, but I only managed to go to high platinum. And then, but I'm talking platinum when platinum was harder to reach, because now it's a little easier, I think. I remember staying stuck in Bronze League for a while. Then I figured out how to stop the freaking rush from the Zerg. That's when I finally got into Silver. Then I learned, because I'm a Protoss player, then I learned how to do the cannon rush, and I cannon rushed all the way up to Gold. But in Gold is when I needed to start actually learning how to play, and that's when I started learning how to play. Then the Oracles came along, and I started to learn how to use those well. And then I hit low platinum, reached high platinum. I would consider myself to be high platinum simply because I got to a point where I was defeating every platinum but losing against every diamond. That's how it was. And so I could never really do the next step because diamond players are insane. I just can't do it. Too strong, impossible. Like they would be, I think it was an action per minute at that point difference. I just wasn't fast enough. Just shy of 3 years I've been you're watching my videos. Thank you so much, Carlos. 3 years is a long time. I really appreciate that. Only 20,000 before the big 1 mil. Yeah, I hope it happens relatively soon, because right now the growth is slowing down. But maybe, we just need a couple of heavy hitters, like a couple of videos doing really well. And if that happens, then I think the growth will go back up quickly, hopefully. So that's what I'm hoping to see. No, I didn't really watch WWF, to be honest. Not really. It wasn't a thing I was into as a kid. Thank you, SJ Smiths, for subscribing with Prime on Twitch. I really appreciate that. Lots of gaming coming up soon. Apoc says you don't remember when you started watching my channel. Might have been when Scalagrim mentioned you a few times. Yes, Scalagrim did mention me a couple of times. We even did a couple of collaborations together. Yeah, I always multi-stream with Twitch because I need to build up the hours. I always need to build up the hours. Now, when it comes to sections that are on YouTube, members focused, then of course members have the priority when it comes to reading. But if there is a slow moment, then I read on Twitch. But of course, I always want to acknowledge the people that subscribe on Twitch, whether it be with Prime or not, because that's always something I appreciate, a bit like super chats on YouTube. It's like very grateful for that. And Apoc says, sadly, Scalagrim fell off hard. He's been making a few interesting videos lately, but it seems YouTube just isn't for him. Yeah, you mean like view count? Yeah, his views are really low. My views are relatively low too. Exception, like I do have the exceptions, like the video I made on the pyramids, 500,000 views. I'm very happy. So I got a few heavy hitters, but then my average views are relatively low for a almost 1 million channel. But he has twice my subscribe count. So yeah, he should have at least twice the number. Like for him, he should hit maybe 200,000 or maybe 160,000 per upload should be regular for him. And then for me, 90,000 per upload should be regular, and it doesn't happen. But then again, for me, it's not a problem because I'm a daily uploader, and so the views add on. So what ends up happening with my current strategy is, and we discussed strategy with Scalagrim behind the scenes. I showed him all of my, because I wanted to help him. I did the same with Shad, and I showed him all of the my analytics. I showed him everything, screenshotted even the money stuff, everything. I sent him everything, including to Shad. And then because I said, maybe this will help you reorganize your strategy. My current strategy is that even though, yeah, I do have the exceptional videos, usually 5, 6 videos, maybe 8 videos will do really well. And then the rest are kind of below average when it comes to the normal amount of views that you would expect with a channel my size. But it doesn't matter because since I post every day, cumulatively I get a lot more views cumulatively than channels that will get more views than me per uploads, but they post 4 times a month. Then yeah, no, a lot more, like a lot more. So that's why I remember a couple of haters recently, they were making videos about me and they were kind of making fun. Oh, look, he only got 40,000 views on this video. And I'm like, you can laugh all you want, but I make 5 times the amount of money that I used to make when I was posting 8 times a month. So at the end of the day, you can laugh, doesn't matter. It's like, it's silly at that point. Yeah, it's like teenage bullying, isn't it? It's not even like adult attacks. It's like the way teenagers bully, and it's silly because at the end of the day, well, okay, but that's your strategy then. It's like if you present numbers and you're like, look, with my strategy I make 10 times your money with a fifth of the work, I'll think you're an asshole, but I'll think, hey, he's got a point, his strategy is better. But my strategy up to this point is making it really well. I think it's envy. You're right, Enya. I do think it's envy. And at the end of the day, I don't have to prove anything. I'm happy with the people that are here today. I'm happy with it. If anyone, no one owes me any views. So whatever I get, I'm very happy with. And then I'll have to strategize around the algorithm. But up to this point, I tried it all. I tried 8 high-quality videos per month, and then I tried 30 videos, still 8 high quality, maybe even 10 high quality. But what happens if I post every day? If I post every day, the single upload number of views is lower, but the overall amount of views, it went, when I was doing 8 videos, the single uploads were getting almost 100,000 per video, but that ended up meaning about 1 million to 1.2 million views per month for the whole channel. Instead, by going daily, I went up to 3.8 million views per month. And so it's the better choice. Even if each single upload gets less views, it doesn't really matter at that point. That's what I think. But then again, it is ups and downs, isn't it? With the system, we always try to do what we can, and I do feel bad for someone like Skal or someone like Shad when they experience problems with the algorithms and like they put a lot of work into a video and it doesn't do well. It gets them like 20,000 views and you have 1.7 million subscribers. It's like something is wrong, and I hate it. I hate seeing it. I really do. You don't like the new content form on Shadiversity? Like, what don't you like about it? The fact that he has guests and they talk, so it's not just him? Is that the problem? Because I know that oftentimes that's something that people don't like. And then the other thing, what else did he change really on his main channel? You missed Nate. Yeah, Nate was kind of fun. It's a difficult thing to do though, because if you stick to exactly the same thing you were doing 8 years ago, channels die because of it. So you always, because the algorithm changes. And so you kind of have to adapt. But it's a sweet spot, isn't it? It's difficult to balance it. It is why it's important to listen to our audiences. Because as content creators, if we remain monolithic, then it's guaranteed that your channel will die out. But if you instead change too much in order to follow the evolution of the system, then the hardcore fans that have been with you for years might not like it anymore. And so it's always difficult to find a balance, which is why for me, the way I try to do it is push out as much content as possible so you make everyone happy. That's my idea. I can still make a video about helmets. Unfortunately, it won't do well. But I compensate because then I make a video about something that is a hot topic, like the pyramids stuff, and then I'll make a video about something else, and it's just try to make everyone happy. That way, that's what I try to do. Nate and Tyrant were so good play together. I agree. I think he had a problem though because he had to pay salaries and he wasn't making enough money. That's why he let people go, right? Daily uploads are based. I enjoy daily uploads. It's a lot of work. It is. Also because I always try to maintain the quality as much as possible. Of course, a video that I produce over 3 weeks of work is going to be substantially superior to a video that I put together in an afternoon, obviously. But then again, I can still make those. I still do. I still make them. It's just that they take so long that in the meantime, I enjoy keeping the channel alive with videos that are simpler and then easier to produce. And then boom, I drop the bomb. Like I dropped the video that took me 3 weeks to make. Because yeah, there are channels that can literally post once every 3 months and get like 50 million views. But I'm not one of those. So that wouldn't be financially viable. It would be impossible to survive on YouTube as a full-time content creator. Of course, the live streams now, I'm trying to focus on live streams a lot as well. Yeah, Oversimplified does that, but then again, not everyone is oversimplified. Not everyone is freaking H-Bomber guys, puts one upload, 35 million views. It's like a lot of us, we don't know. And also, it's an investment. Imagine putting so much work into a video that takes you 6 months to do, and then it flops. If a daily upload flops, who cares? But if a video like that flops, it would be, oh my gosh, it's finished. What do I do now? So I don't like that. I still produce my heavily researched videos, but in the meantime, I fill in the gaps with regular uploads. So if it does happen that video does really well, I've had videos that hit 1.8 million, 1 million, then great. But then if the video flops, it's annoying, but at least I have the rest to keep me up. You know what I mean? I think it's strategically better at that point. You too, August. Thank you for joining the stream. Oh, don't worry about misspelling, Ernia. Not a problem. I appreciate that you watch a lot of my videos, St. Nicholas, and also you're always here during live streams. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. You liked Shad's fight scene autopsies. It'd be nice if you could bring those back, yeah. Totally. Absolutely. They should do YouTube Shorts out of the wazoo. No, I think YouTube Shorts kill channels. Unless you have a dedicated Shorts channel. And we were talking about this yesterday during the live streams. I'm not the ultimate authority, but for what I've studied, YouTube Shorts don't help long format content at all. In fact, they detract from it, in my experience. That's why I don't do them anymore. I stopped completely. Or you thought those were some of the less good parts of his channel, the fight reviews. But that's the problem, saying Nicholas. People like when you have a big audience, it's impossible to make everyone happy. You will always make someone, like there will be someone who loves the bits. For instance, instead of talking about Shad, let's talk about me for a second, so I don't talk about Shad all the time, because I don't want to like judge his content. I could judge my own. For instance, there will be people that absolutely love my old school core content, vanilla videos where I talk about Roman helmets. Great. And then there will be someone who says, this is so boring, I hate it, I like your reacts. Then I'll make a react video, and there will be people who say, I hate reacts, you're just a react channel now, I hate it. And then I'll be like, okay, then how about I do a movie review, like I review The Gladiator. And I'll do that and someone will hate it. Like there is nothing, like, it's impossible to please everyone. Something that is the best for you it's going to be boring for someone else, and vice versa. There are people that absolutely hate the React content and people that cannot wait for the next React. And that's how it is. That's why I think it's good to balance and that's what I try to do. I do a bit of everything. The only problem is that when people get very emotional about it, then I do find in the comments people saying, oh, I hate your Bible videos, for instance, or I hate your React content. That's all you do. And that's the part that I'm like, I totally respect that you don't like that aspect of the videos, but it's not true. That's all I do. So that will be the only, but then again, oftentimes it's not their fault. It's YouTube not sending them the notification for the kind of content they would have liked. So maybe YouTube will send them the notification for a couple of reacts, and so they have the illusion, oh, that's all Metatron does. But if you really took the time to look at the last 30 uploads, you would see that, oh, okay, these 8 are uploads, 8 are reacts, 4 are debunking, 3 are response videos, 10 are original content. Like, you would see the actual numbers. And of course, I know the actual numbers, but I do understand how it's difficult as a viewer sometimes, particularly if all you do is the feed. If all you do is the feed, then yeah, the algorithm will give you a skewed perception of a channel, for sure. Nicholas says it's almost as if taking time to study helps. I agree with you, and as a viewer you can say it. As a content creator I can't say that because it sounds condescending. It sounds like I'm expecting people to watch my stuff, but I can't. I'm grateful for people watching anything that they choose to watch, and so if someone doesn't want to watch, it's fine. But yeah, it's one of those things. Oh, you're sad that he left, Nate? Yeah, I know. But as I say, I don't know if Shad could have continued to pay them. I don't know how much he paid them. I don't know that. We have discussed finances with Shad a few times. Like, I know exactly how much he made with his book, for instance. I don't know if it's public information, so I'm gonna keep it for myself for now. He told me about that. I don't think he ever told me how much he pays all the people that work with him. I don't know. But then again, if he's paying them decent salaries, and I don't have any reason to think why he wouldn't, then I can understand if the views were really going down for him. Plus, he wasn't posting daily. I can see how he couldn't afford to keep paying them, which is annoying, which is a really, really sad. Thank you, Skids Mark, for subscribing with Prime. Very much appreciated. I think the fact that they pay the tithing is on them, though. You don't have to, I know where you're coming from, APOC, it's true, but the salary doesn't change. It's not like the worker has to increase to cover the tithing. The tithing is your thing. You just earn less, basically. Yeah. But you're right, you're correct. Would you make a video about shields and why they look little different in different nations? Yeah, a video dedicated to shields would be really fun. Maybe we'll do it as members, because if I do that on the main, it's not going to get views. We'll do it with members, and then after we post it on members, then maybe after a month we could post it on the channel, and then if the algorithm just doesn't want to have it, it was basically members funded. I think it's a good idea. What I'm going to do for the member only videos, I'm going to do a poll with 4 ideas, and then you guys democratically vote it, and depending on which one gets the most votes, I'm going to produce it for members, because then it's funded, and then post it on members can watch it, and then maybe after a month I could post it. We'll see, something like that. Of course, St. Nicholas, for sure. It's up to every individual, yes, whether they want to do that or not. And Light7 says, my life has changed. I work 60 hours, so I find I don't have time to watch. I absolutely understand that. But I can listen to long live streams. Nice. Previously, I couldn't sit and watch for hours. Yeah, I think putting my videos on the background and to listen is great. As a creator, I love it. I love it when people do it. And I do it myself with other creators. There are plenty of YouTubers that I don't really watch because I'm doing something else, but I put them in the background because it's nice. They keep me company, particularly at night. My wife already gone to bed, because she goes to bed a lot earlier than me. I'm a creature of the night. She's a morning person, and so like when she has already gone to bed and I don't have anyone to speak to, sometimes I like to putting like a long stream or a long a video format in the background and then on my headphones. And then as I do my stuff, maybe I'll turn on my Amiga, play some games, and I like having that in the background for company. There are a bunch of YouTubers that I watch precisely for that. Second monitor, baby. Yeah, I do have 2 monitors. One here with the chat and one here in the front. I do have that. I usually use your videos to sleep or while I do chores. I appreciate that, Skids. Whatever works for you. And thank you for being on both. Like, I see that you are not only you're a member here, but you're also a subscriber on Twitch. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Thank you. You're doing that now while playing Morrowind. That's great, Goatee. Yeah, I think Morrowind and Metatron, M&M's. Let's go. Morrowind and Metatron sounds like a good connection. Yeah, Light 7 says, so YouTubing is like StarCraft. You continue building zealots while you are waiting for your Archons to merge, pretty much. Yeah. Morrotron. Yeah, the Morrotron. Morrowind is such a beautifully poetic name. I think it's the best one. They all have great names. Daggerfall is a great name. Maybe Arena is the least interesting name. Daggerfall is a great name. Morrowind sounds phenomenal. And I know it's the name of the island of the Dark Elves, but I'm saying it's a beautiful Morrowind. My gosh, it sounds great. Oblivion sounds really good as well. It's a little more generic, but it sounds really good. And then Skyrim, literally the rim of the sky. So like this is the rim of something, like the border line, but of the sky. Skyrim. It's amazing. I love the names. I would say Morrowind is #1 title for poetic appeal. Morrowind. Then I put Skyrim, then Daggerfall, then Oblivion, believe it or not. Because Daggerfall also sounds so good. Daggerfall. You're like, ooh, wow, it's a world with daggers fall. I don't know. Sounds good. I'm looking forward to put more hours into Oblivion Remaster. Race and class, always Altmer. I'm an elf supremacist, among other things. Have I played Bloodborne? Yes, but it's not really my type of game because I'm more into the medieval period. So I will play Dark Souls over Bloodborne. I understand that as a game, technically, it's a phenomenal game. Everyone tells me that. The boss fights, the balance, the weapons, everything is amazing about it. It's just the setting. It feels like, isn't it like a bit Victorian? And I think that's what didn't sell it for me, personally. Not a huge fan of that. But I understand that for some people, it's their favorite. Isn't Bloodborne Jacksepticeye's favorite? I think it is. I think it's his favorite game ever. So I understand. But for me, I would play a Dark Souls, any Dark Souls, and Demon Souls over Bloodborne anytime. You give me a knight and go into fashion mode. And then I'm like, ooh, like the simple fact that I will grind like a maniac if there is a good plate armor to gain. Then I'll grind like a maniac. So when there is no play, that's also one of the things that, like a game like Dragon Age Origins, which remains one of my favorite games ever. But when I saw the armor sets, ooh, I was already into the game, but that was the final thing for me when I saw the plate, even which you see very earlier on, whether it be the Templars or whether it be the King, and you see those armors. I'm an addict. I am an addict. Absolutely. Do I play Elden Ring? Yes, I do. I played it yesterday. I do. I'm not very good. I got fixated into this area called Caelid or Celid. I don't know. I read it a bit Latin, but because there is a guy with they're called Red Knight, Red Mantle Knight, Red Cape Knight, something like that. And they have this kind of mixture between a frogmouth and a barbute, and I need it. I just need it. Thank you, Baron. You still need to play Enotria. I do. You're right. I will play it. That one is another one that I should play one of these nights on my gaming thing. Caelid, that's how they read it? I see. Yeah, I love that area because the sky turns red, but you still see the yellow tree in the distance, and this mixture of yellow and red looks very appealing to me. Plus, they have beautiful castles and towers. I really like that area. Probably my favorite section of the game so far. Like biome-wise, if you can call them biomes in an open world can have biomes for sure. So yeah, love it. That's actually the only thing that I don't like about a game like Subnautica, which I adore Subnautica. But one thing I don't like is that whenever you go to a different biome, I wish it appeared on the top right and it told you. Because those biomes have amazing names and you will never know because it doesn't tell you. At least in an Elden Ring or in Souls games, when you go to a new area, it tells you. And that's something I like. Because I looked it up when it comes to, when you go to an area and the water turns green in Subnautica, and you're like, ooh, the vegetation is different, the plant life and fauna looks different, the alien life, and so you're like, ooh, this must be a different biome, and it is, but you wouldn't know because you have to, I had to study it, like literally go research it. River, thank you so much for supporting the stream. Obligatory $10 super chat. I appreciate that. Not obligatory, but I do appreciate that. Complimentary. Karst biome. Yeah, let's do that. For what game? Still Subnautica? Or another game? Let me see. Karst biome. Oh, wow. But this is like in real life. You're not talking about a game. Look at those rocks. Well, I guess they made it in Minecraft, but they made everything in Minecraft. I don't know, is this what you're talking about? Oh yeah, I played Subnautica, absolutely. I didn't finish it, but I will finish it, I think, once I actually start streaming it. Because on stream, I actually do finish games, which is nice. Are you talking about this? These kind of rocks? Pointy rocks? I don't know if this is what you were talking about. You say beautiful biome, yeah. Oh yeah, they look great, man. And then as I was telling you, there's a bunch of people doing this kind of stuff in Minecraft. Some people are so creative in Minecraft. I think I would do something a lot simpler if I started playing Minecraft. It's just that if I'm gonna play games, I usually prefer like Valheim, Conan Exile. Those are the games that I enjoy. Building stuff. Enshrouded. Snurdly, thank you for subscribing with Prime. Very much appreciated. If you stream it, I'll binge watch the streams. What, Subnautica? Oh, I will. It's just that gaming streams usually are at night, so expect it to be probably around 11 or 11:30. At one point, I'll start doing it. But Subnautica, I love Subnautica. The atmosphere, the feeling, it's like an addictive loneliness. That's what that game has. But Valheim and Conan Exile, I can't wait. Maybe those I'll stream a little bit here, but I have to make sure that I'm in the afternoon streams, but I have to make sure that I do streamer safe mode and remove nudity. I don't want to get in trouble because Conan has quite a lot of nudity. Valheim doesn't, but Conan does. I need to ask my wife for a little cheese. I'm starting to get hungry, so I need a little cheese support. I'll do that. I need cheese to support. I told my wife, could you imagine if I clicked the wrong thing and I actually asked for cheese, but I sent it to my lead researcher? I need some cheese support. Formaggio-tron, yeah, that's me. The Formaggio-tron. Yeah, that would be funny. Professor, bring the cheese. Let me see more analysis. So, from physics.org, analysis of ancient Scythian leather samples shows 2 were made from human skin. Oh, only 2 though, at least from this sample. A multi-institutional team of anthropologists has discovered that 2 pieces of ancient Scythian leather excavated at sites in Ukraine were made from human skin. Okay, this is a better article because at least it's giving us numbers. In their project reported on the open access site PLOS ONE, we'll still have to double check how trustworthy this site is. The group tested the accounts by the Greek historian Herodotus regarding certain behaviors of ancient Scythian warriors. Oh, the cheese is here, guys.
Sí.
Cheese is here. Little cheese break. Cheese break with cheese and Scythians. It's a great combo.
Yeah, sounds good.
For some reasons, the air stopped.
What, do you need it colder?
Yeah, I think so. I'm starting to get a little hot. Thank you for the help.
Hey,
We got some cheese, guys.
come on.
Got some cheese, guys.
Quentin, come here.
Oh, they want to know who's your favorite Lord of the Rings character.
Arwen. I
Yeah,
love Arwen.
me too.
I love, I had the biggest crush on Frodo as a kid. I mean, not even necessarily Elijah Wood. I mean, Elijah Wood is a handsome guy, but I had the biggest crush on Frodo specifically.
I think if I was a woman, I would have had a crush on Legolas.
Oh, me too. I did have a crush on Orlando Bloom, Legolas
Now we're
as well.
talking. Now we're talking.
Yeah. But now, I think Aragorn is like, yeah, yeah. So,
I'm glad to hear that because I'm closer to Aragorn than I am to the other two.
yes, of course.
I can be your Aragorn.
Oh, you already are my Aragorn. Are you
Yeah,
kidding?
that's great.
Hello. No, anyways, no, I love Arwen though. Like the movies, because I don't, in the books, it's not the same.
Yeah, of course.
But, anyways, I'm gonna go. I actually just started putting it together
Really?
because I'm trying to film it because I
Yeah.
want to do a TikTok.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I've seen people do like TikToks of them putting together Lego stuff, and it gets I'm doing it because it's fun, but it gets
Yeah.
a lot of views.
Oh.
But I really should have started it with makeup on because I have no makeup on.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Plus, if you're doing, I think if you're like reviewing your fashion stuff, then absolutely, I think the
Yeah.
makeup works well. Even though you're gorgeous with or without, doesn't
Hi,
matter.
Baron. Hey, Kenzie.
Yeah. But then when it comes to like, if you're doing something like a fun hobby, I think it's
Yeah.
fine. It
Well,
maybe
this will have to be filmed over the course of like a month.
for sure. Yeah,
So
no, I
this-
wouldn't worry about it. I really wouldn't worry about it. Man, you could do
Who's-
an amazing video about
Yeah,
it.
I'm excited. Hassan Safia. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, thank you for becoming a member. Really appreciate it.
Woo,
You guys
woo.
are awesome.
You guys are amazing. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go start.
Yeah, have
Bye,
fun.
chat.
Bye bye. Yeah, so Pillbox was asking what's the deal with human skin. That's what we're trying to figure out. So I asked my research. Yeah, so the Scythian, a population of the steppes, nomadic, it seems like they used human skin to make quivers and leather goods. I know, that's what we're trying to investigate here. We're investigating, guys. This is an investigation. So let's see. Prior research has found that ancient groups of people known as the Scythians lived in what is now the Pontic Caspian steppe. That sounds really nice. From approximately 700 BC to 300 BC, because they were itinerant people. Yeah, nomadic. Not much is known about them beyond their reputation as fierce warriors and excellent equestrians. Yeah. There were a lot of people in the steppes were actually excellent equestrians. They're not the only ones. Sarmatians are like that as well. Obviously, we know Mongols. It's like a thing in that area. They were known to the ancient Greeks, though. Famed historian Herodotus mentioned them in his writings, and we have already confirmed that. He said that they were known to drink the blood of their slain enemies. Guys, the situation is getting deeper here. Drink the blood of well, it's kind of difficult to find evidence for that, I guess, when it comes to material goods, but yeah, I wish they told us about it. And sometimes use their scalps as a means for wiping the blood from their hands. Yeah, the situation is getting crazier. Yeah, Scythian horse armor. Oh yeah, that would be nice to see. We'll see some art that represents them. He suggested that there had also been reports of them removing the skin from the right hand of the enemy and using it to make leather for their quivers. In this new effort, the research team looked for evidence of this last claim. The researchers used a variety of paleoproteomics techniques to analyze fortified leather samples collected from 14 Scythians dig sites. Okay, so it's still relatively wide. They were able to identify the source of all of them. All but 2 were made from horse, cattle, goat, or sheep skin. So still, it's a very, very limited usage for what we can find in this. But probably, whether it was limited in period or not, who knows? Because it's a limited sample. And therefore, we don't know if it's representative. But then again, if Herodotus speaks about it, it means that still, whether it was a smaller percentage or whether it was like freaking something that they did on a daily basis, which I highly doubt. But regardless, even if it was something that they only did occasionally because of some enemies, it would have been impactful enough. And I would say, so obviously, yes, it would be for the Greeks to tell us about it, right? So they were able to identify the source of all of them, all but two: cattle, goat, sheep skin. The other two had human source, confirming what Herodotus had written. Further study of the two human skin leather samples suggested that they were crafted onto just the top part of quivers. All right, so like the maybe the rim, in honor of Skyrim. The remainder of the quiver was made of animal leather. It makes sense because still, yeah, I guess they had more of that. The researchers suggest their findings not only confirm stories about the ancient Scythian warriors, but also that the warriors were creating their own quivers and were using material readily at hand. And definitely this, I mean, material readily. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, this one was written better than kind of gave us more information on this situation. Let's see if we can look. Let's have a look at what they look like. Let's see, Scythian warriors. Let's see. Images. I mean, look at that. I love that's brutal, Ernie. I agree. Look at this. I love populations of the steppes. My gosh. In art form, like this is basically, so this would be the quiver, right? And then this is a woman, but that's not unusual, by the way. In populations of the steppes, women did contribute to the war effort. Still, the majority were men, but the percentages would have been definitely higher when as compared to, for instance, the Romans. When it comes to the Romans, a woman does not belong to war. But when it comes to, like, for instance, the Sarmatians and other populations of the steppes, then sometimes women warriors were part of the fighting force at a higher percentage when compared to other populations. Man, look at that. It looks incredible. Look at the scale. I mean, I don't know if this is a good representation. It looks very Greek, the helmet, but look at the scales. Look at the scales. It looks fascinating, doesn't it? You love scale armor? Me too, mate. I love scale. And when it comes to scale, here is more scale that we can see. Wow. Scale and lamellar, in fact, it's a connection. It's like a both in this representation. Amazing artist. Who is it? J. Foliveras. Phenomenal artist. Look at that. I mean, I would print it. Looks great. Sky is in full scale, probably bronze in this instance. Yeah. Once again, quiver. Yeah, high elves also love scale. And that's the thing. High elves are more medieval, right? They look more like a late medieval type of civilization. But one thing I want to show you. Let's go to... and this is something it's going to be great for you. If you don't know about the website, I'm going to show you. Manuscripts and Miniatures. Manuscripts and Miniatures is a phenomenal website. And I've been using it for years. It's this one here. It's where I get all my iconography for my videos, by the way. What's amazing about this is that you can go into tags, right? And then you got all the tags. And let's say that we wanted to look the usage of scale in the medieval period, because this is all medieval. Then we can click here, look at this, Aventel, because scale was used in conjunction with plate, by the way, in the Middle Ages. It was less commonly used than mail. But yeah, and then you can click like Aventil scale plates, and then you can click whatever you like, scale, even Aventil shield, Aventil strap. So I'm going to click something here. Let's see, Aventil scale, and it gives you the actual iconography from the Middle Ages. You can see it's kind of scale here. Let's see if we can find something else, just give you ideas, tags. But you can choose the country, you can choose the scale armor 39. Look at this. Boom. We got a lot of... You can find... You can like say no, only in 15th century. You can say only in Italy and Spain, Portugal, in between 1300 and 1400. It's a fantastic website to look for iconography, and it makes it so much easier. Yeah, this is clearly scale. Absolutely, that's scale. And this one too. Probably this is an interpretation of male, but this is definitely... It's more like lamella. And yeah, look at these guys. Clearly scale as well. And so, ooh, this is probably either brass or bronze, or it could have been gilded if he had the money. Yeah, look, this guy has got male, this guy has got scale on top of male. So yeah, it's a great. Can you link the website? Sure. Yeah, I'll do it. So this is the website. I'll link it to the section with the tags already, but then you can choose whatever you want. And effigies and brasses is another one, but this is the website. And then that's what I use. It makes my life so much easier, because I'm like, hey, I want to look for, let me show you, for instance, heater shields. So heater shield, 500 pieces of iconography. Sorry, I misclicked, but that's what I mean. Like, there we go. And then I can look for all the heater shield, and then you have to take time to go through the iconography. But it's like such a smaller sample, so you can look for frog mouths, for instance. That's how I found and even changed my mind on the frog mouth helmet. Frog mouth helm. Imagine if we click this, for instance, because you'll notice that sometimes the frog mouth is used in. My gosh, that looks so good. Oftentimes it's used in tourneys, but you will also find it many times in iconography used in actual war, in cavalry charges in war. And that's when I started questioning this idea that we keep repeating, that it was only used for jousting tournaments, when iconography shows it used in battle so much that then I started questioning it. And that's when I believe now that, yes, there are some frogmouth helmets that are categorically tournament only, but there are also plenty of other models that were absolutely adjusted and used in war. That's what I believe now, because iconography from so many different countries, it's just, that's what I believe. Anyways, phenomenal website for this kind of research. Oh, absolutely, Ernia, you're very welcome. And like it really helps with your, like, imagine this, like we were talking about high elves and the usage of scale in combination with plate. Boom, you go there, you write scales, and there you will find so many examples that are historically accurate, like of scale skirts, just like the ones we see with the elves. And you can see, oh, these were actually used in the medieval period. And you will find scale skirt, plate, breastplate, for instance, as a combination. That does happen, just like with the elves. Just like with the elves. Ishaya vest, for example. Yeah, exactly. Scythians are woke, says Baron. Oh, that's funny. Scythians vampires confirmed. Host people, best people. Yeah, I'm reading now this. That's funny. Wouldn't your hair be more like Grima Wormtongue? Who is Grima Wormtongue? Let me see. And I'll tell you. Tell you immediately. Yeah, because Aragorn's hair is very short compared to mine. Still long hair, but it's short. Who is Aragorn? Yeah, but still short, mate. So the color, yes. But this is super short. To be fair, I think my length is more like this. Yeah. Like these guys have more my length. These guys have my length. To be fair with you, this is what we are talking about. And I mean, because they're elves, well, not her hair. Her hair is very wavy. But this guy has got super straight, and this guy's so super straight. If I straighten my hair, it looks exactly like this. It goes all the way down at the same stuff. So it's I got like elven hair when it comes to length. Yeah, you see? He looks really good with this. I think his hair looks good to the shoulder. I don't think his hair would look good being as long as the elf guys. But then again, this elf here, his hair is shorter than me. So at this point, my hair is longer. I don't know why we're talking about my hair, to be honest, but it's kind of funny. Depends on the elf. This guy, short. This guy, okay, now we're starting to talk. I have the hair of hair. I've got, even among the elves, guys. I got longer hair even than some of the elves. I don't know what to tell you. And the crazy thing about it is that I cut it. And every time I cut it, it comes back. Must be a curse. The elven curse. Gadriel's hair has a lot of interesting things done to it. Yeah, true. Something like this happened as well with, did you see Stargate, the movie? Not Stargate SG-1. Stargate, the movie, and then you had Ra, the alien god. His hair is very long, right? And it changes at every time that there is a shot with him, a scene, his hair is different. I think they really spent some money on the, kind of department that takes care of the looks of actors, because They always have his hair in a different shape, different way. You don't like that movie? I love that movie. I watched it multiple times. I love it. Stargate, the original Stargate. SG-1 was good, but it started getting a little, because they had to produce, I liked the idea that every episode they would go to a different world, but a lot of it started to feel a little bit like repetitive, like one world looks like ancient Greece, one world looks like the Mongols, one world, like it wasn't as, I would have liked it. So at that point I prefer Stargate the movie, so that I use my own imagination to imagine and come up with worlds that look nothing like ours. So SG-1 was good back in the day. I watched it as a student. You know, I would put it up and watch it. But the movie, I really like the character, the Egyptologist guy. It's a good movie. Isn't there a game based on the movie for Super Nintendo? Oh gosh, I don't know. Maybe. That'd be awesome. You remember fighting Anubis in Stargate game when I was 5? Oh goodness gracious. And Marx was saying, my hair is very, I'll allow it. Yeah, no problem. My hair is very wavy like Aragon, but also very thick. I see. So I guess you got censored because of the word thick. It is what it is. We know exactly why. We all know why. We don't need to go there. But we like what we like. Atlantis. Yeah. I don't think I watched that. If it's a show, then I haven't watched it. But yeah, manuscript and miniatures, guys. It really is worth it. Really, really nice. One of the many things I love about ROP is Oh, what's ROP? Is Galadriel's hair. Oh yeah, a lot of interesting stuff. Yeah, I already read that. Yeah, I agree. I don't know what ROP is though. Just googled it. Stargate is a 1995 platform game for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System based on the 1994 film of the same name. Wow. Oh, Rings of Power, of course. Rings of Power. I only watched a little bit and then I got bored with Rings of Power, I'll be honest. Didn't really get me. Did they ever make a season 2? I don't think I ever watched it. I didn't watch that. Yeah, I know what it is. Yeah, I started watching it because I was like, I know it's Lord of the Rings, but then I got bored. I prefer, you know what the Rings of Power I like? Is a video game for Mega Drive Genesis. That's the Rings of Power I like. This one here. Man, I'm bringing you back. Look at that Genesis. Look at those Genesis graphics. Hey, let me tell you this much though. It looks like this. So I am familiar. Very Lord of the Rings inspired, of course. I'm familiar. This is what it looked like back in Europe. This is like a Mega Drive, in fact. And I think it's an awesome cover art. I guess, is this the American cover art? No. No, it's kind of the same, but yeah, maybe. Does it say Genesis? No. So then maybe this is like computer. Oh, it says Genesis down here. Well, at this point, I prefer the full cover art in Europe here. But I have a question for you. Let's see what you guys prefer. Play it on stream? Oh yeah, I will. At one point. It's a little difficult though for today's standards. But let me show you this. Golden Axe. We're gonna compare. Let's see which one you like the most. Between when it comes to cover art. There we go. There we go. Found it. 1 second. One moment. There we go. So now let me do this. All right. So this is the American cover art of Golden Axe for Genesis, the first one, Golden Axe. We've got here Tyrese Flair right next to us, so it's nice to speak about her game a little bit. And that's what the American cover art looks like. And then this is what the European cover art looks like. Now, I like the European more, but there are pros and cons on both. So I kind of want to know what you guys think. For instance, one thing about the European one, some people don't like the pose because they look like they're literally posing for a photograph. Yeah, you think American looks better, I see. I like this one because I think that the muscles look great. Like, I like his pose. Her pose is a little strange because of the foot, it's turned around. And this guy looks like he's literally posing for a photograph. But he looks imposing. And besides, it's more game appropriate because he's got the sword, and in the game, he's using a sword. In the American version, he's wielding an axe, but in the game, he's not wielding an axe. So there's that. And I'm not sure about his face. I mean, he looks like a metal singer to me. This guy looks more like a hero, and this guy is a metal singer. Plus, she has a different hair color. I do like, however, that the dwarf is on top of the beast. So that I'll give to the Americans. That one, yeah, I mean, that looks really cool. But I do like Tyrus Flair is more herself. Like, this is Tyrus Flair. I can recognize her. And I know that my mouse cursor is being inappropriate, but I can't help it. So this is that. I don't know. What do you guys think? And the axe is in golden. But that's okay because the golden axe is literally what you get, I think, when you beat the game. So like when people complain, why is it called golden axe, but they're wielding swords, except for him? And he's like, well, because the golden axe is you get at the end. For what I remember. I don't know. It's been a few years, guys. It's been a few years. But anyways, the weapons are always weird. When it comes to the cover art, I don't know what it is in the 90s and weapons, because look at Golden Axe 2. Okay, this is Golden Axe 2. I think Tyrus Flair in the European art looks stunning. Although they should have given her the white and red. Not just red, but whatever. The dwarf looks kind of weird. He looks kind of weird. And why is he wielding a gladius? It's a Pompeii gladius, I can tell you that much. He doesn't have that. He has a freaking regular sword, like a medieval sword. Yeah, I think that's why it's called Golden Axe, it's the final weapon. So I don't know what the heck happened here. Let's see the American variety. 1 second, because I'm curious. I don't even know. Golden Axe 2, Sega Genesis. Let's see what cover art today. Oh, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same. So it doesn't change. It's not region locked, like region. I guess they all settled with this. And I'm so weirded out by the fact that they gave him a gladius. I just don't get it. I love the art, by the way. I think it looks great. The big monster here. Again, I'm not a huge fan of how they rendered the dwarf. And color palette, they should have given the dwarf the green. I mean, come on. But then again, I'm just weirded out by the sword that they chose. She has a fantastic pose. Like how she's about to, yeah, strike. Good 90s art, am I right? Top notch. Do I know Turok? Do I know Turok, my friend? I have a sealed copy of Turok for what do I have it for? N64, I think. Yeah, I do know Turok. Turok was good fun. I have played on my, if you haven't seen it, guys, on my gaming channel, I played a remake of, a fan remake of Golden Axe, and it's really good. Golden Axe, wait a second. Wait. Metatron's Protectorate. There we go. So this one, Golden Axe Returns. I was going to do a little react of my own stuff, I guess. Well, a little bit, just a little bit. Because I just wanted to show you how it looks. Because it looks incredible. Like, look at this. Look at this. Let me see if I can get you some volume as well. He did a fantastic job. This is like, look. Power is a little low, and then so you choose, you have a lot of characters you can choose. Then I chose Tyrus Flair because I always play as Tyrus Flair. But I think the graphics are so endearing. Like, it looks really good. And let me tell you, it plays really good as well. It's fun. Am I speaking over myself? I kind of want to go to Turtle Village because if we go to Turtle... Look at that. Nice. Now, you see there are some weapons up there. You can attack that and get a weapon from it, a weapon drop. We got and you can pick up, like various weapons as well. You can switch weapon. This guy did a really good job. Very good job. Hey, let's build them up to want to use the Golden Axe, then end the game. Yeah, exactly. Then Golden Axe 2, where they allow them to use the Golden Axe. Yeah, I don't remember if it did. I don't even remember, because I've been playing them, as you can see. I've been doing some playthroughs with Golden Axe. Still such a good game, and the music. Yeah, that guy did a fantastic job. I think single developer. Meta watching himself. Yep. Meta game. Yeah, sure, they twisted her ankle, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of weird, the pose on Golden Axe 1. You love art like this? Me too, Apoc. Me too. It's like, you know, one of the best, when it comes to cover art of like box art, it's one of the best ever, is, what is it called? Yeah. This remains one of the best cover art ever made in the history of mankind. Hero Quest. But I need to find the original. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, there we go. This is it's incredible. This is incredible. Like how dynamic the poses are. Him in the center, the barbarian warrior. You got the green skin, the orcs here, perfect. Then more orcs on the left, all the undead coming, the chaos warrior. They are perfectly representative of the miniatures, by the way. You got the dwarf and the elf here going, charging at this muppet. And then on the right, the mage is casting spells while the lich in the background is also, and they're having like a magical battle, and the zombies are getting close. Like, this is so dynamic, and the storytelling behind all of this really encapsulates perfectly the board game experience, because that's really how it was. And you can tell, like the four characters, it's so good, so good. You know, I know they did a remake of this. The board game, because finding a complete in-box version of Hero Quest is quite expensive these days, but they did do the remake. What do you guys think about it? Because I've been thinking about it, maybe I should get it. It's this one here, the remake. I mean, the art is, no, is it this? Yeah, I think it's this. I mean, the art is not the same, but everything else seems like they did a good job with the miniatures and everything. So I don't know if you guys had a chance to check it out, but it seems like it's well made. Everything else is quite coherent. You got the 4 classes. They even added stuff, right? Elf, yeah, it seems like they added stuff. I'll have to watch some people play it, because I would love to play it again with all the 3D models of the... You could build the different rooms. What a game. And then another one that eventually I'll just rebuy it, and who cares, you know, is Battle Masters. I don't know if you guys are aware, but Battle Masters was like before Warhammer became a thing, still by Games Workshop, this one here, and it's still fun to this day. And I'm talking this, like basically it's a war game, but you buy the box. We had it when I was 13, we bought it. And you get like Imperials versus Chaos. And then you get this map, the 2 armies, and a set of rules, bunch of dice. And you basically do battles. And then you have a few scenarios if you want. And gosh, I have so many good memories from this. Man, I've actually never seen them fully painted. Because this was before painting became a thing. That's really... painting became a thing in my experience with Warhammer itself, but this was such a good introduction to the idea. Yeah, look at this. Well, this is actually Warhammer, I think. Probably repurposed. Something like that. Thank you, Mickey. Have you played Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 yet? Yes, I have. Amazing game. Also, small daily reminder to hug everyone around you today. Cheers. Thank you so much, Mickey, for supporting the stream. And yes, I played it. I do have one stream of 4 hours. I put about 4 hours into it. So it's like the first 3 hours were just to finish the freaking tutorial. And then I played about an hour. And it's a good game. But it didn't... I think I got distracted because I started playing other games. It's either because I get into Retromania, and so I start playing Megalomania, or I play Populous and stuff from the 90s like that, or like late 80s, or or like I got distracted with Oblivion Remaster, and that's what I'm putting a lot of hours in. So there is that. Old TSR guys were great, I agree. Snurdly, absolutely, absolutely. Did a very good job. But yeah, so anyways, guys, I think I'm going to end the stream for today. 3 hours together was a good time. It was a good time. I really appreciate everyone being here. And we're going to have, as usual, Monday to Thursday regular streams. Friday we have members. Just have a good time together, hang out and whatnot. I don't know if I can go live tonight to play games because I might need to prepare a little bit for tomorrow's board game. But if I do have time, I will. And if anything, thank you everyone for being here. And I will see you tomorrow with my next daily upload. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one. Ciao, ciao. Thank you everyone for your generosity.